Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to everyone who is listening to Last Rounds Baseball, as we're going to be providing you live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. Tonight is the third game of the series between the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters and the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. The Fighters are looking to salvage a victory in the series, as they have lost the first two in this one on Friday night, or I should say Friday night North American time. Saturday in Japan, it was a 4-1 victory for the Hawks over the Fighters. And yesterday, behind Levi Moinello, he went the distance to beat the Fighters 1-0 against a very well-pitched game by Hiromi Ito. Well, tonight it is going to be the Taiwanese rookie who is taking to the hill, the right-hander. It'll be Sun Yi Lai, who will take to the hill against Tomohisa Ozeki of the Hawks. And we're going to give you the starting lineups, first of all, for the visitors from the Hokkaido region. Leading off tonight and playing in left field is number 30, Yuya Gunji. Batting second at third base is number 21, Kataro Kiyomiya. Hitting third in right field is number 66, Chusei Minami. The cleanup spot and in center field is number 7, Go Matsumoto. Hitting fifth and doing the designated hitting is number 99, Franmil Reyes. Batting sixth at first base is number 5, Yuki Nomura. Hitting seventh at second base is number 38, Kaz Ishii. Batting eighth and doing the catching is number 98, Yuki Umbayashi. And batting ninth at shortstop is number 43, Tatsuki Mizuno. And they are going to be facing Tomohisa Ozeki, who takes to the hill with a 9-3 record. He has worked 111 and two-thirds innings. He's allowed 71 hits, 21 runs, 19 of which have been earned, walking 26 and striking out 77, pitching to an earned run average of 1.53. Well, that's your starting lineup for the visitors from Hokkaido. Now your starting lineup for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. Leading off at third base, wearing number 4, is Jeter Downs. Hitting second and playing second base is 00, Hikaru Kawase. Hitting third and doing the designated hitting is number 3, Kensuke Kondo. The cleanup spot and playing first base is number 5, Hotake Yamakawa. Batting fifth in left field tonight is number 32, Tetsuro Yanagamachi. Batting in the sixth spot and doing the catching is number 12, Hiroki Manai. Batting seventh in right field is number 77, Kaida Yamamoto. Batting eighth at shortstop is number 99, Isami Nomura. And batting ninth in center field is number 8, Taisi Makihara. And they'll be facing Sun Yi Lai, who takes to the hill tonight as he makes his start. He has worked 7 innings so far this year in 7 games. He's allowed 4 hits, 2 runs, all of which have been earned. He's walked 2 and struck out 4, pitching to a 2.57 ERA. And what do we think? Well, if you guys are in here, we have our friend Luke and Justin Huffman in here. As we mentioned earlier up in our chat, we think the Fighters will salvage a win here, even though it does point a lot to Tomohisa Ozeki, who's 9-3, looking for his 10th win. I have to say, I do believe it is going to be the Fighters here tonight behind the Taiwanese right-hander. They do have 2 Taiwanese players in their ball club. And the other Taiwanese player that is not on the roster right now is Gulin Rui Yang, if I've said that correctly. And he has started off very, very well for the Fighters. And now it's the opportunity for the other Taiwanese player to show his form, and that is tonight in Sun Yi Lai. Okay, everybody. Well, the first pitch is about to happen in Japan, and we've got a couple of little things to take care of. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight on the Last Rounds Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back after this.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred with Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. Welcome in, everybody. It is going to be Tomohisa Ozeki who is just completing his tune-up tosses, and we are ready to get this one underway. It'll be Yuya Gunji, Kotaro Kiyomiya, and Chusei Manami to come to bat. You face the left-hander here. He has had a stretch of his last 5 starts, 4 in the month of July and 1 already here in August. He has not gone less than 7 innings in any of his outings. He is looking to keep the streak moving here tonight against the Fighters. As we mentioned at the top of the stream, the Fighters are trying to break the streak here with their young Taiwanese right-hander Sun Yi Lai. Will take the hill for the Fighters tonight in this one. Well, after a night off last night, we were back in the saddle. I did get a chance to watch a little bit of that game briefly last night. I picked it up in about the 8th inning to see Levon Moinello close it out against Hiromi Ito. That was a 1-0 affair for the Hawks. And so here we go, ready to get this one underway. Ozeki rocking into the motion, and he kicks and delivers. And the first pitch is swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Gunji. Gunji hitting .286 on the year with 6 homers and 27 runs batted in. He bats from the right side here against the left-handed throwing Ozeki. Luke says, what's funny is he can only do 1 inning. 1 inning is better than nothing because you can always come back tomorrow and listen on the delay. There's a fastball that misses outside. The count runs even to 1-1. Our friend Harrison in the house. He ran into a tough ball club. Harrison is a Mets fan, and Milwaukee Brewers are one hot ball club right now. I think it's the 3rd time they won at least 9 in a row. There's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Gunji. Defensively tonight for the Hawks, from left to right field, it is Yanagamachi in left. The center fielders Makihara, and Yamamoto is in right. As the lefty Ozeki works himself into the windup and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. It is popped up over on the left side of the infield. Coming in underneath it is Downs. He's there to make the catch. And that is going to retire Gunji for the first out of the inning. So 1 gone here. It's going to bring up the third baseman in Kotaro Kiyomiya. Just to finish the rest of the defense around the horn in the infield from first to third, Yamakawa is at first. It is Kawase at second. Shortstop tonight is Nomura with the third baseman Downs and the battery of Ozeki and Manai. A little bit of a different vibe for these Hawks here, as they have made some changes for over the last year or so. There's a fastball that swung on and tap foul over on the first base side. The count is quickly 0-1 to Kiyomiya. Kiyomiya hitting .260 on the year, 9 homers and 43 runs driven in. Waggles the bat here as he gets himself set to get the offering from Ozeki, who kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that is waved at in the dirt. And now the count goes to 0-2. I'm not sure what Kiyomiya was looking at there. It was a split finger variety, and he just looked like he had broken out the 9-iron and couldn't stop it. Our friend God is Great is in the house here tonight. I wonder if you guys are going to get any remnants of that typhoon that's going to hit Taiwan, I guess, Tuesday. As there's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 0-2 to Kiyomiya. All I could say is I hope that the typhoon gets itself out of the way, and I got clear sailing in my time in Taiwan. I certainly don't want to get stuck in a typhoon. As the 0-2 pitch is ready to come, Ozeki rocks himself into the delivery. He kicks and fires. Breaking ball misses down and away, and the count now goes to 1-2. Sal says he put 625 on the Hawks. What kind of dollars are those? Are those Taiwanese dollars? Are those U.S. dollars? So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is, as Kiyomiya waits on the offering. And there's a fastball swung on, is grounded over to second, fielded neatly by the second baseman, Kawase, who throws to first, and Kiyomiya is retired on a ground out 4-3. He's gone for the second out of the inning, and that is going to bring up Chusei Manami. Sal says Australian dollars. Good to have the Australians checking in. Well, that brings Manami to the plate. He's hitting .227, 17 homers and 44 runs batted in. Mike Cole Hooks is back again. We're glad for you to be here as well. And Manami waiting on the first pitch. It is a fastball that misses down. And the count is quickly 1-0. Justin said he was going to bet, but doesn't know enough about the NPB. That's probably the right choice right there. If you don't know something about something, that's where you have to pump the tires and learn a little bit about it. And you are in the right place because there are some folks that are here. Certainly some people will bet the over-under. Some people will bet the first 5 innings. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes even to 1-1. Sometimes it's a gambling-heavy crowd, and sometimes there is others that just want to come and listen to the ball game. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Slow breaking ball catches the outside corner, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Manami. But either way, and no matter what the reason is for you being here, we're glad you guys can make it in tonight. We will bounce back to some Major League Baseball action over the next couple of days. Giants and Padres tomorrow night. So if you're around, you want to listen to that. We'll be calling a couple of games the next 2 nights. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right center field. Racing back over to the track, and it's gone. A home run by Manami. And that is what you would call a wall scraper, as that ball just barely got over the fence as he makes himself, or he rounds the bases, as he's now got his 18th home run of the year, and he breaks that tie with Hotaki Yamakawa of the Hawks, who had caught him the other night. So Manami opens up the scoring here for the Fighters, going opposite field as he collects himself an RBI, driving himself in, and that is going to bring up the center fielder and Go Matsumoto. And that was definitely the definition of a wall scraper. I think it might have been maybe 2 or 3 inches over the top of the wall, but it all counts nonetheless. So that brings Matsumoto to the plate, hitting .203 on the year, no homers and 7 RBIs. And the first pitch is a breaking ball that just misses down for a ball, and the count is 1-0. Justin says he watches a lot of KBO, but not a lot of the other. Neil says, as there's a fastball taken for a called strike, the under is generally a safe bet. My Cool Hook says, how was the Mariners game? Actually, I didn't go to the Mariners game. I went to the Aqua Sox game, which is the high A team. They were playing the Angels high A team. As the 1-1 pitch is on the way, and there's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is popped up in behind second base, backpedaling underneath it as Kawase is there to make the catch. And Matsumoto is going to be gone for the 3rd out of the inning, and that will do it here for the Fighters in their half of the first. But they draw first blood. They had 1 run in the inning on the home run by Chusei Manami. There was 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left the board. Your score as we move to the bottom of the first inning, it's the Fighters 1, the Hawks no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action right after this on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the bottom of the first inning. It'll be Jeter Downs, Hikaru Kawase, and Kensuke Kondo to come to bat here to face the rookie right-hander of the Fighters. Our friend Sal says, do I have a chance? Can the Hawks catch up? Of course they can. They got 9 innings to hit. We are moving to the bottom of the first inning. They are the top team in the Pacific League. They hold a 3-game lead over the Fighters, and they're playing at home. A lot of boxes checked for the Hawks. So this brings to the plate Jeter Downs, and the first pitch to Downs is a fastball that misses up and in for ball one. Count is 1-0. That first pitch was at 92 miles an hour from the young right-hander, the 20-year-old Taiwanese pitcher of the Fighters, as Lai kicks and delivers a slow breaking ball that misses outside, and the count runs to 2-0. Buck OTV says, do they draw if it's tied after 9? No, they play extra innings, but they only play 12 innings. So here comes the 2-0 offering, and now instead the right-hander Lai steps off the backside of the rubber, and he's cycling through the signs with his young catcher. So it's a young battery here for the Fighters. As the right-hander works himself to the set, here's the pitch. Fastball misses inside. It's now 3 balls and no strikes. Scott R. comes in and wants to know, where can I watch this game? Well, first of all, it depends on where you're at. Some folks were saying the other night the game was on Dingo TV, but you got to have the app for that. Get it on Pacific League if you want. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. That's going to be ball 4. So 4 straight balls to start the ball game. And Jeter Downs is aboard with a leadoff walk, and that'll bring up the second baseman in Hikaru Kawase. And the thing is that it depends on the country that you're in as well. So I'm not sure where they would have that in the States. They used to have it on DAZN, but I don't think DAZN in the USA covers it. I believe DAZN has it. Sometimes Amazon Prime Japan will carry games. I don't think they're carrying this one. As they throw over to first base and getting back to the bag. Well, Sal, if the Hawks lose, we're going to miss you. That's all I can tell you. If you're going to talk about that during the stream, well, we'll let you know how they go. There's a fastball ticket for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Kawase. Young Petro says, where's the link at? There's no link. You're listening to the live commentary right here. If you want a link, you're going to have to find it through some other platform. Here is the 0-1. It is a fastball ticket for a called strike. The count now goes to 0-2. Scott says he's got the Fighters minus 0.5. Oh, we're glad you could be in here, and we're glad you're with us today for some afternoon baseball. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fastball misses upstairs. The count goes to 1-2 on Kawase. Kawase getting the start at second base tonight. He was the starter at shortstop in the Friday night game. He does play all around the infield. He can play third base. Even seen him with a first baseman's trapper once in a while, too, as they throw over to first base, and diving back in time is Jeter Downs. Downs can run a little bit. He's got 3 stolen bases on the year, as he is establishing his lead here against the young right-hander. And now they throw over to first, and again diving back in time as the base runner Downs. Bucko TV says, are you in Japan? Not at the moment. We will be in Taiwan in about 12 days' time, counting it down every single day till then. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball waved at and missed, and Kawase is in the books. He's gone for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up the designated hitter in Kensuke Kondo. Scott is in the States. So the left-handed hitting Kondo coming to the plate. He's hitting .337. He's got 7 homers and 31 runs driven in. Kondo's having a strong season when he's healthy, and the first pitch breaking ball is missed up and away, and the count is 1-0. Sal, you're going to have to put the liquor down and listen up as we call the game here. This is only the third batter of the game. There's 1 on and 1 out. And Kondo at the plate here. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, there's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count goes to 2-0. Check that. We must have missed the first pitch. They must have called that one a strike on Kondo. We had it down as a ball. So 1 ball, 1 strike it is here to the left-handed hitting designated hitter of the Hawks. And time has been called as Kondo steps out and wants to reset himself. Again, the young right-hander gets the side, now delivers. Breaking ball, take it for a called strike. Kondo didn't like the pitch. Certainly a young 20-year-old pitching on the road getting that type of call. Pitch looked like it was up in the zone, and I can understand why Kondo is a little bit upset. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. I like Kondo. He's probably, arguably, pound for pound, I think the best Japanese hitter in the NPB. Maybe Shugo Maki would have an argument, as that ball is grounded foul just past the bag at third base. Maki, of course, with the Bay Stars, but he's going to be out for some time. He had some surgery. I'm not sure what the time frame for his return will be. It is supposed to be before the end of the year. Have to keep our eyes peeled on that one, because that will impact the Bay Stars lineup. Here's the 1-2 pitch. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right center field, but there's room. Camping out underneath it is the center fielder, Matsumoto. He's there to make the catch. And retreating back to first base is retreating back to first base is Downs. Kondo is the second out of the inning. And that's going to bring up the first baseman, Hotaka Yamakawa. Well, for Yamakawa, hitting .211 on the year, 17 homers and 48 runs driven in. He was tied with Chusei Minami entering the ballgame tonight, as each had 17 home runs, but that has certainly changed, with Minami drilling his 18th of the year in the first inning. As Lai steps off and feigns a throw over to first base. But Downs isn't going anywhere. So here comes the first pitch to Yamakawa. It's a split finger pitch. It misses down for a ball. The count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. The home run lead in the Pacific League, Franmil Reyes, 21 homers. Now Chusei Minami has 18 and Taka Yamakawa with 17. And he hits a line drive into left field. This ball is going to get down. It's going to get off the wall. Rounding second and heading to third is Downs, and it's going to be a long single off the bat of Yamakawa. I'm not sure why he's only standing on first base unless he stumbled getting out of the box. I'm not sure what's going on between the pitcher and the catcher, because it was kind of funny when the umpire gave the ball. He had some words. Both the pitcher and the catcher are having a entertaining conversation with one another out here on the mound. I'm sure they're going to have some more discussions when they get back to the dugout. Both are rookies. You don't see that very often. Well, a long single off the bat of Yamakawa. Downs is the runner at third. 2 gone here, and it brings Tatsuro Yanagamachi to the plate. And for Yanagamachi, batting .293 with 4 homers and 31 RBIs. I wonder if Lai speaks, how much Japanese he speaks. One of the things they say about in Taiwan is 95% of the population speaks Mandarin. But there is the Japanese influence on that island, as the pitch is a first pitch breaking ball that comes across for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Yanagamachi. So no balls and 1 strike. As Lai gets the signals from his catcher, Umbayashi. Pitch on the way. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count goes even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Our friend Alex is in the house here tonight. We welcome everybody who's popping in here tonight. Great to have you guys here. Here comes the 1-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball swung on, lifted into deep left center field. Should be playable. Underneath it, with room to make the catch, is Gunji, and that is going to do it. Well, the Hawks threaten, but they don't score. There was no runs in the inning. There was a hit. There was no errors, and there was 2 runners left aboard. Your score, as we're now through 1 complete inning, it is the Fighters nothing and the Fighters 1 and the Hawks nothing. Stick around, everybody. Appreciate you all for hanging out here with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Be right back after this introduction from our good friend Steve.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name, and I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
We're moving to the top of the second inning. We'll be back after this little timeout. It is 1-0 for the Fighters. Welcome back, everybody. They have the translator talking to the pitcher and also to the catcher, it looks like, in the dugout. They're trying to sort out whatever differences in communication they might have. Oh, boy, a little bit of flair on the mound, that's for certain. It'll be Franmil Reyes, Yuki Nomura, and Kaz Ishii to come to bat here in the top of the second inning to face the left-hander Tomohisa Ozeki. Reyes stepping in, batting at .283 with 21 homers and 65 runs batted in. As the lefty Ozeki kicks and delivers, and the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses up and away. Ball 1 it is. Only 16 pitches in inning number 1 for Ozeki. But the important was the Chusei Manami opposite field home run that opened up the scoring. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fastball misses down, and the count now goes to 2-0 on Reyes. Reyes, the big fella, picking up where he left off in the 2024 season. As the lefty Ozeki rocks himself into the windup, and he kicks and fires. Fastball taken under the hands for a called strike, and the count goes to 2-1 on Reyes. There's only one other game that is going on in the NPB tonight. That game is in the Central League. It is 0-0 in the bottom of the first between the Dragons and the Giants. As there's a fastball swung on and missed, the count now goes 2-2 to Reyes. Other games go off at 5 o'clock local time, the other 2 games in the Pacific League. And the other 2 games in the Central League go off at 6 o'clock or 1800 Japan time. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep center field. Moving back onto the warning track and making the catch is Makihara. Oh, Reyes sent it for a ride. He just sent it to the deepest part of the ballpark. And he's going to be gone for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the first baseman in Yuki Nomura. Well, for Nomura, he's hitting .248 on the year, 8 homers and 27 runs driven in. Comes to bat to face the left-hander here. And waggling the bat is the first baseman of the Fighters waiting on the first offering. And it is hammered into left field. This ball is hooking. If it stays fair, it's going to be trouble. And it is a fair ball. It's off the wall. And digging hard for second is Nomura. And he's going to slide in safely with a double. He absolutely hooked that thing right down the left field line. It was really well played by the left fielder Yanagamachi, as he really played it off the wall well, firing it back into the infield. But not in time to get Nomura, who has got himself a one-out double here in the second inning. In fact, not only did it land, you could see where it hit the white line and to the white paint, you could see, or the chalk, or maybe the little rubber pellets bounced up in the air. So Nomura, the runner at second, it's going to bring Kazunori Ishii to the plate. Ishii hitting .274 with 2 homers and 20 RBIs on the year. Waiting on the first offering here from Ozeki, who delivers a fastball that just misses low. And the count is quickly 1 ball and no strikes. Lefty-lefty matchup here. Ishii been holding down second base for quite a while for the Fighters. He is in good form. Coming off of that series against the Saitama Cebu Lions. He's been hitting the ball fairly well. There's a breaking ball that misses up and in. Count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Our Filipino friend in the house tonight, he says the Hawks are back in the number 1 spot with the question mark. Absolutely they are. Glad you can make it in to listen. Got a little caught up with all the other stuff that was going on in the chat. As the 2-0 pitch coming from Ozeki as he holds to the set. Now delivers. There's a fastball swung on and tap foul over on the third base side. And the count now 2-1 to Ishii. Scott says he took a call and it was bad luck. I don't know. I can't remember if Scott was for the Hawks. Yeah, bad luck for the Hawks. Runners at the corners. Well, that'll always be interesting because now will the young right-handers settle into a groove? I always say that sometimes with starting pitchers, if they get through, survive the first inning, it can get into a groove and make it very, very difficult. There's a fastball swung on. This ball's belted down the right field line, and it's just going to hook foul into the netting. The count goes to 2-2. Blake says, how to watch in the USA. We threw it out earlier. There were some folks the other night were watching it on Dingo TV. You can go look at pacificleague.com. Those are 2 ways there. You're going to have to get your wallet out. I don't really know much about Dingo TV. I'm not in the States, so I don't know where that would be. And your kanji better be pretty good if you're heading over to the Pacific League website. As Ozeki leans in and gets the sign, nods in agreement, and he works himself to the set position. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. As the pitch is on the way, and there's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted into left center field. Moving over underneath it, making the catch is Makihara, tagging at second, but not advancing is Nomura, and that is going to retire Ishii for the second out. And that'll bring up the catcher in Yuki Umbayashi. Well, for Yuki Umbayashi, he made his season debut last week against the Lions, and he was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. In his career in the NPB, he has played parts of 4 seasons with the Fighters. The 27-year-old has making his 34th appearance at the top flight. In tonight's game, he's got a career 131 batting average. So that ought to tell you what he's all about. So Umbayashi batting from the right side, digs himself in here. And I found it a little bit interesting that he would even be playing in this situation. When you think of Yua Tamiya, you've got Gunji catches, you got Ariel Martinez, Tori Fushimi, and then he finds his way into the lineup. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0 to Umbayashi. Alex pumping the fist for us. We appreciate you for doing it and for being here. So 1 ball and no strikes to the right-handed hitting catcher of the Fighters. Lefty again works to the set. Pitch on the way. It is a fastball that just misses outside. The count goes to 2-0. Tony put his nickels on SoftBank tonight. Well, the Hawks are in first place for a reason, looking to complete the sweep here in this one. as the lefty holds again to the set. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Fastball swung on. This ball is hammered to first base. Taking it on a hop is Yamakawa, and he's going to win the race to the bag easily. What a play there by Yamakawa. The big fella not only does it with the bat, but he does it with the glove on this occasion. Ground out to 3 to end the inning, and that'll do it here for the Fighters in their half of the second. There was no runs. They strand a one-out double off the bat of Yuki Nomura. There were no errors and one runner left aboard. Your score as we move to the bottom of the second inning, it is the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters 1 and the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. No score. Stick around. We'll be right back after this on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Glad you can be here with us tonight for all of the action. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters to come to bat for the Hawks in their half of inning number 2. Minai, Yamamoto, and Nomura to face the right-hander Lai here in his second inning of work. So getting a set at the plate here is the catcher Minai, who's hitting .245, 4 homers and 16 RBIs, takes a breaking ball for a called strike. The count is 0-1. We didn't do the defensive alignment for the Fighters in that first inning. From left to right field, Gunji's in left, Matsumoto in center, and Manami is in right. Around the horn from first to third, it'll be Nomura at first, Ishii at second, Mizuno at short, and Kiyomiya at third. As there's a fastball chopped softly over to short, Mizuno fields it on the run. He fires to first. That's going to retire Manai on a ground out 6-3 for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the right fielder in Kaida Yamamoto. Just to finish the lineup for the Fighters, the battery is Lai on the hill and Ubayashi catching. And there you have the lineup defensively for the Fighters. Another reason why I would be concerned about the Hawks, I don't like their lineup tonight. When I think of their lineup, really, there's only about 3 players, maybe 4 in there that, to me, are impact guys that are in their everyday or would be in their everyday lineup. There's a breaking ball that misses up and away. As the 1-0 pitch on the way, there's a fastball swung on and lifted foul. And when the Japanese League announces their lineup, unlike Major League Baseball, where you can get the lineup 3 hours before the game, in Japan, typically it's within the 60 minutes before the game the lineups get posted. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count goes to 2-1 on Yamamoto. And I know there's the young right-hander on the hill here for the Fighters, but the lineup for the Hawks, as I say, is not the most potent lineup where we've seen. There's a fastball missing up and away. Count now goes to 3-1 on Yamamoto. So 3 balls and 1 strike. Again, the right-hander delivers fastball swung on and chopped foul over on the first base side. Count now full to Yamamoto. Yamamoto only hitting .219 on the year with those 2 homers and 6 RBIs. Gets himself dug back in. Ready to face the offering from Lai. There's a fastball swung on it, is fouled right in front of home plate, and it spins into fair territory. And Yamamoto wasn't running initially, but now he does, and he gets thrown out by a country mile. That's going to be a ground out 2-3. We're going to look at the replay of that one again. The ball Ends up hitting and spinning down on the dirt. Spins into fair territory, and up with it to pick it up was the catcher Umbayashi to fire him out at first base. That won't make the manager happy, not coming hard out of the box. Well, that brings the shortstop Basami Nomura to the plate. The first pitch is a breaking ball swung on it, is popped up over on the right side. Playable. Underneath it is the second baseman Ishii. He's there to make the catch. And that is one quick inning here for the Hawks in their half of inning number 2. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. They go in order here in the second. Your score is the Fighters 1, the Hawks no score. We'll be back in just a few with all the action on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Stay with us, everybody. Our friend Alex is tripping away, and I hadn't been keeping my eye on the chat. We'll be back and talk about his stuff in just a couple moments.
Oh, hello. Oh, hey. Yep. I'm just sitting here listening to Freddie call another game here on YouTube. Oh, yeah, going really good. He's calling a great game, really exciting, lots of stuff going on. You're lucky it's commercial break right now. I got a second. Oh, yeah, of course I'm having a cold one. Oh, yeah, got plenty of videos coming up this week. You should stop in, check them out, leave a like, tell other people. But, Freddie's coming back. I got to go catch the game. I will check in with you later. You have a good night, buddy. Bye.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters to come to bat here for the Fighters in the third inning, and that would be Mizuno, Gunji, and Kiyomiya. As Ozeki is ready to come back out for his third inning of work. The 25-year-old Mizuno batting .246, 3 homers and 27 runs batted in. Hitting from the left side here against Ozeki as he kicks and fires a first pitch fastball taken for a called strike. Count is quickly 0-1. 30 pitches through the first 2 innings for Ozeki as he has asked for time. He wants to get himself a new baseball. Didn't like the one that he threw the strike with, so I guess he's going to try something different. Friend Tim is in the house. Welcome back, Tim. As the first pitch on the way, there is a breaking ball swung on and it's tapped foul over on the first base side. The count now goes to 0-2 to Mizuno. It's been a busy crowd in here tonight. We've had a lot of people checking in and checking out. But more importantly, we're glad to have you with us as it is the Fighters and the Hawks here in the top of the third inning. Pitch on the way. Slow breaking ball misses and the count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ozeki is not exactly the fastest worker as he rocks into the windup. He kind of reminds me of Wada from a couple of years ago, retired. There's a fastball that goes right through the legs of the catcher, Minai. And that runs the count to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. When these two teams played the other night, it was a bit of a humdrum game. 4-1 final score for the Hawks, but it was really one of those games there wasn't a whole lot of, action. And I guess you could probably equal that last night in the 1-0 game. Fastball swung on and missed. Mizuno goes down on strikes. He's gone for the first out of the inning. That's the first strikeout recorded by the lefty Ozeki, and that'll bring up the top of the order in Yuya Gunji. Well, for Gunji, he's 0 for 1 tonight. He popped out to the third baseman his first time up. Steps to the plate here, ready on the offering from Ozeki, who rocks into the windup and delivers. Fastball misses up and away for ball 1. Count is 1-0. Gunji's average has dipped to 284 with that pop out in inning number 1 as the lefty rocks and delivers. There is a fastball taken for a called strike. Gunji didn't like the call there. That was knee high. It was actually a split finger fastball. I have to be honest with you, I think that was too close to tape. But where the pitch location was, pretty good spot. Hard to hit that knee-high pitch inside. There's another fastball taken for a called strike, and Gunji didn't like that call either. He thought both of those last 2 pitches were down. I think you might see something different when he gets to the tablet in the dugout. Both those pitches look pretty good by Ozeki. And here comes the 1-2 offering. Pitch on the way. Fastball down. Good stop there by Manai. Makes the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tapping both sides of the plate here is Gunji, and he's waiting on the 2-2 pitch as Ozeki ready to go again. Rocks himself slowly into the windup. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses down. The appeal over to the first base umpire, but they say he didn't go. Probably Gunji took a deep sigh of relief there. It was a split finger fastball that was down. I have to tell you, Ozeki's split finger pitch kind of moves strangely. That last pitch was more up down, but he throws some other ones that more spin. They almost act like a cutter because he's got a lower arm slot. And it really moves from left to right. Here's the pitch. Fastball belted. And this one's hook-barreled foul well into the seats. And the count remains at 3-2 to Gunji. Of the 10 hitters that Ozeki's faced tonight, this is the first hitter that's worked them to a full count. Again, he taps both sides of the plate, does Gunji. All Rail says Baystar's previous game was canceled because of weather. There's a fastball swung on it. It's going to be grounded through the 6-hole into left field. And Gunji's aboard with a 1-out single, and that'll bring up the third baseman and Kotaro Kiyomiya. Just back to All Rails there for a second. I was saying about there's supposed to be a typhoon hitting Taiwan either on Tuesday, and then they were saying, well, Japan gets some of the remnants of it, depending on which way it turns. If it ends up going that way, or does it roll through Taiwan and make its way up to Japan? Mike says he's got 160 on the Fighters. I said at the opening, if you go right back to the original comments, I felt that the Fighters were going to be the ones with the chance to win tonight. I didn't see the Hawks sweeping them, and I thought that the Taiwanese right-hander would be the one. Here's the first pitch. It's a fastball swung on and hit foul over on the first base side. Scott R. says, did you see the first female umpire call the Braves game? She totally blew the first call. Actually, I didn't. You know what? I don't even know what to say. I mean, there's been some Major League Baseball has been fast tracking the women in the sport, women in the game, whether it be coaches, umpires, you name it, for the last few years here. And sometimes there are others that have paid their dues, and I'm just not sure that they get their due where it should be given, if that makes sense. I would like to see the umpire report card or scorecard on Twitter. They sometimes do that, tell you how many pitches they miss. There's a pitch that misses down, and the count's 1-1. I don't know the accuracy of it. A lot of people seem to rely on it. Certainly, you didn't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out that Angel Hernandez wasn't very good last year. He always scored terrible. Tim says, are the Hawks really good this year? Yeah, they are. They're in first place. They got a 3-game lead on the Fighters as they throw over to first base, and getting back easily is Gunji. Scott R. says everybody was calling her Angela Hernandez online. Oh, boy. Yeah, it's pretty amazing that the Hawks are flapping their wings in first place. I look, you got to maybe give the manager some props over there. I look at the lineup they've rolled out tonight, and even on the best of times, they've had some injuries. Yuki Yanagita nowhere to be seen. Fastball misses upstairs. It's now 2-1. And yet they continue to keep pumping out the W's. Kurihara, I don't know what the status on Kurihara is going to be, if he's coming back this year or not, the usual and regular third baseman of the Hawks. I'm not sure what his injury status is at the moment. So 2 balls and 1 strike. As Kiyomiya here waiting on the offering from the left-hander. Here comes the pitch. Kicks and delivers. Breaking ball misses inside. It's now 3-1. Waiting on deck is Chusei Manami, who right now has accounted for the only run in the ball game so far, as he hit that solo homer to the opposite field. It was a complete and utter wall scraper, as we talked about before. At the Tokyo Dome, it's in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and it is the Dragons and Giants locked at 0s. It's the only other game that's going on. Later tonight, there has been a postponement, as there's a fastball ticket for a called strike. It's now 3-2. The Hanshin Tigers and the Hiroshima Carp, the game in Hiroshima has been postponed. Looks like weather will win that one tonight. So keep your eyes on the game between the Bay Stars and the Swallows, and the Buffaloes and the Marines. We'll see if those games will go off as scheduled or not. If weather will be moving toward the Tokyo area. Here comes the 3-2 pitch as the lefty holds set. Now delivers. Fastball swung on and missed, and Kiyomiya, he's blown away for the second out of the inning. Ozeki walked the ladder and blew it right by the third baseman of the Fighters. That'll bring up the right fielder in Chusei Manami. Allrail says that noticed at the beginning of the year they weren't doing so well. Those were facts. Fighters were really doing very well. They got off to a very good start and were leading the pack there for quite a bit. Even the Oryx Buffaloes got off to a fine start this year. I thought they'd be back in the playoffs, the Buffaloes, but I didn't think they'd do as well as they did to begin the season. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0 to Manami. Tim says he hates game cancellations, especially if you have a ticket. Sometimes there's no refunds. I know a fella that was over in Yokohama last year was at the Bay Stars game. Actually, it was this year. There was a breaking ball ticket for a called strike. And he messaged me and he said, hey, they got 2 innings in. Bauer was on the hill. And the next thing you know, the rains came and they waited. And they said, nope, game's over. And there was no refund on the ticket. So you paid full freight to watch 2 innings. Ouch. Alex thinks that the Hawks will get with this with the bullpen. There's a breaking ball that misses outside. The count now goes to 2-1. Well, the Fighters' bullpen's pretty good too, so I wouldn't be counting on that, although the Hawks' pen's pretty rested, as is the Fighters. Both of these bullpens here can get the job done, that is for certain. And it'll come into effect when the playoffs happen. Who's got the better pen? So here comes the 2-1 pitch as Ozeki again holds set. Now kicks and delivers. There's a slow breaking ball that misses outside. It's now 3-1 to Manami. Michael S. says, do you think the Hawks can pull through for your parlay? Well, if you weren't here at the beginning of the game, when I laid it down in the comments, I basically said, no way, not tonight. Hawks are flying with clipped wings. Dennis Dixon says, let's go Ham Fighters, and the Japanese Ham tonight have that 1-0 lead. As Manami waits here on the offering from the left-hander Ozeki, here comes the 3-1. Checks Gunji over at first base. And the pitch is on the way, and there is a breaking ball that is waved at and missed by Manami. Manami wanted to make the scoreline 3-0 with that swing, and he came away with nothing himself. Actually, I thought it was a curveball, but it was one of those split finger pitches that he drops down and throws low 3/4. It almost looks like a breaking ball, just the way that it moves. So 3 balls and 2 strikes it is. Again, Minami waiting here on the offering. Rare Monday baseball in Japan. Full slate of games until the rainout had taken place. Here's the 3-2. Fastball swung on and missed, and Minami is down on strikes. Ozeki strikes out the side, surrounded by a single by Yuya Gunji. So there was no runs, there was a hit, no errors, and 1 left aboard. We're moving to the bottom half of inning number 3. And your score is the Fighters 1 and the Hawks no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in just a couple moments. I'll come back and I'll break it down for our good friend Michael S., and we'll give it to you here in just a few. It is a 1-0 lead as we move to the bottom half of inning number 3. Here is our good friend Matt Hollis. Be sure to check him out after the game. He's all kinds of entertaining.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters to come to bat here for the Hawks in inning number 3. That'll mean Makihara, Downs, and Kawase. And the first pitch to Makihara is a breaking ball swung on. Grounded over to short, fielded neatly by Mizuno. He fires to first, and Makihara, with 1 pitch, is gone here to start the 3rd inning on a ground out, 4-3 for out number 1. From Michael S. says, why is the reason you don't think that they'll win tonight, meaning the Hawks? And he doesn't know much about the KBO. Well, that's the first thing right there. This is not the KBO. This is the NPB. There's a difference between the Korean League and the Japanese League. And he says, I picked them because they're favored at home. Yeah, they are the top team in the league right now. I just looked at the lineup that they rolled out here tonight. Got a lot of guys that are not regulars in the lineup. And I felt that the rookie pitcher for the Fighters could be the wild card in this one, and right now he has been the wild card. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike. Count is 0-1 to Jeter Downs. Lies first NPB start. Yeah, the pitch on the way is a fastball that misses up and away, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, the right-hander ready to go. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that comes up and in on Downs and backs him off the plate, and the count now goes to 2-1. Yeah, it's a bit of a getaway game for the Hawks as well, in some degree, as there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. I say getaway game. It's the 3rd game of the series. You've won the first 2. In essence, winning the series as well. Sometimes guys will get days off, which you kind of see in this one here. No Yukio Shudo tonight. There's a breaking ball swung on. This is going to be grounded through the 6 hole into left field, and Jeter Downs is aboard for the 2nd time tonight. This time on a base hit single. And that is going to bring up the second baseman in Hikaru Kawase. It is the bottom half of inning number 3. That's only the Hawks' 2nd hit of the ball game. Yamakawa had the first one back in inning number 1. And so when folks are asking why I think that you can't win everything, although they are at home and they do have a pretty good pitcher on the mound. Both of these teams, their bullpens are very, very good. As the right-hander Lai throws over to first base and getting back easily is Downs. Again, the right-hander works himself to the belt, now delivers. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. I will say this, though, that the right-hander Lai certainly works pretty quickly. And when he does throw over to first base, I don't know if he's going to hold it long enough. We don't see too many balks in the NPB. You get them from time to time. Pitch on the way is a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count goes to 1-1. Mike says the Hawks have to lose. As I take a look at some of the stuff here, as our guys are chatting away, 1-1 strike it is. And again, Lai throws over to first base and getting back easily in time as the base runner. So 1-1 strike to Kawase as the right-hander again works himself to the belt. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on. This is lifted into right field. Plenty of room for Manami. He's underneath it, and he's going to make the catch. And retreating back to first is Downs, as that will be 2 in the books here. Kind of wonder why they didn't put him in motion, being Downs, that is. I'd like to see a couple things. You got a rookie pitcher on the mound. You've got an inexperienced catcher who's only got 30-some-odd games in the NPB under his belt. Put the pressure on both of them to throw him out and get him into scoring position. If he can do it now, you certainly would have Kondo at the plate to drive him in. So we'll see what they are thinking here. And then, of course, Yamakawa to follow. Here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that misses up and in, and the count is 1-0 to Kondo. Like Mike says, he needs a Franmil Reyes home run. Yeah, well, I think Franmil Reyes needs something as well. He's been, I'd call shaky, but he's not been in a good stretch here in these last 6 games. Pitch on the way, breaking ball swung on it is lifted foul just over on the third base side of home plate. The count runs even at 1-1. Reyes, the Saitama Cebu Lions really wore out the outside part of the plate pitching to him, and then he's been getting that same steady diet of pitches here against the Fukuoka Ball Club. Fukuoka read the book that the Lions used on him. There's a breaking ball swung on its line foul into the seats down the right field line, and the count is 1-2 to Kondo. So 1-2 strikes. Right-hander gets himself a new baseball, rubs it up. Kondo steps back in, ready to face the right-hander again. As again, Lai comes to the set. Here comes the pitch. On its way, fastball swung on there. Went the runner that time as Downs was on the move. But that pitch was fouled off into the area just beyond the third base dugout. So 1-2 it remains to Kondo. Scott says they got to send him. Yeah, I don't understand why they would kind of park him there. I mean, he would have to hit a double to probably bring Downs home. And he does have the capability to do it. Kondo, that is. Breaking ball down. It gets away from the catcher, but that's going to do the job. So that's going to be a wild pitch. Charge to the pitcher, Lai. That moves Downs into scoring position. It's going to run the count now to 2-2 on Kondo. So 2-2 strikes. So we go back to the live action with the runner Downs now at second base. He's in scoring position. That was a break for the Hawks here. Kondo can get a base hit. That should be able to punch him in with the first run for the Fukuoka Ball Club. There's a breaking ball that misses way upstairs. The count now goes to 3-2. Of the 12 batters that Lai has faced tonight, he has gone full to 2 of them. The other being Kaida Yamamoto. And the dilemma is you've got to pitch to somebody here. Do you want to face Yamakawa, who's on deck with all his power? Umbiyashi waiting with, or I say animated, very animated to his pitcher here. And there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into right center field. It's going to get down, and we're going to be tied as rounding third and heading home is down, sliding safely into second as Kondo. And it is going to be a double, and that wild pitch is going to make the Fighters pay here. A double and an RBI for Kondo. That's going to score downs to make the scoreline 1-1. And that'll bring up the first baseman in Hotaka Yamakawa. So just as we predicted and projected, they got downs into scoring position, not the way we thought they would. We thought they were going to steal them over. But the wild pitch that was unable to be contained by the catcher Umbiyashi allowed Downs to get to second base, and now a double from Kondo has even the scoreline here at 1-1. And now the conference has been broken up between the pitcher and the catcher. Scott R says the final could be 2-1, just need a few runs. Well, actually, you'd only need one more run. Or it could be this 1-1 game all the way through 12. You never know. So Kondo, the runner at second here with 2 outs. Yamakawa coming to the plate. Kind of surprised that they just wouldn't put him on. I take their chances with Yanagamachi as the pitch is on the way. And there's a fastball swung on. This ball is absolutely obliterated, but it's going to be hooked foul into the seats down the left field line. Count is 0-1 to Yamakawa. Tim says he's still parked there listening. Great to have you with us. As the 0-1 pitch is ready to come again. Breaking ball misses upstairs, and the count now goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. I wonder what the leash is, what Shinjo would have on the young right-hander here tonight. How many pitches that he would go. They do have a busy stretch coming up here to the Fighters as the right-hander delivers. Fastball swung on. It's popped up over on the left side of the infield. Coming in on it is Kiyomiya, and oh boy, you got to think about it. The roof is closed here, but boy, that is going to be a catch by Kiyomiya, and it sure didn't look pretty. That is going to do it here for the third out of the inning as the Hawks are gone. But they've evened up the scoreline. They got 1 run in the inning on 2 hits. There was no errors and 1 runner left aboard. Your score is we're now a third of the way through this game. It is the Fighters 1 and the Hawks 1. Stick around, everybody, where we'll see if Sal is going to be living on the streets if this game is finished sometime soon. We'll be back in just a bit. Welcome back to everybody. It is going to be the heart of the order coming up for the Fighters. That means Matsumoto, Reyes, and Nomura to face the left-hander Ozeki, who will begin his third inning of work. So Matsumoto, who popped out to the second baseman his first time up, strides to the plate here to face Ozeki. People asking if we think the Giants can beat the Dragons and all the rest of that stuff. Listen, I'll tell you this. If I knew who was going to win each game every single night, I'd be worth multi-millions. And it doesn't matter what currency that would be in. First pitch fastball, take it for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So it really doesn't matter what I think. But in saying that, there are some tendencies and some things to look at when the lineups are rolled out and how some of the pitchers have been used over the last little bit, at least the relievers. Breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left center field. Moving back onto the warning tracker, and now in front of the track is Makihara. He's going to make the catch, and Matsumoto is going to be retired. Matsumoto sent it a long ways. He just didn't send it long enough. He's gone for the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring Franmil Reyes to the plate. The other thing that's beautiful about it, if I knew the numbers to win the Powerball or the Lotto Max or the big draws, I would have those in my head, and I would pick them, and I'd win every week. I might even share some with you guys if I won it. So this brings Reyes to the plate. 0 for 1 tonight. He flew out to the deepest part of center field his first time up. As the lefty Ozeki delivers, there's a slow breaking ball swung on and grounded softly foul past the bag at third base, and the count is 0-1. Just Max says, how many pitches has Ozeki thrown tonight? He's thrown 57 thus far. As the lefty rocks and delivers, there's a pitch. It's a fastball in the dirt, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, the lefty Ozeki rocks himself into the windup, and he kicks and delivers. Slow breaking ball, waved that and missed. The count now goes to 1-2 on Reyes. Not sure what Reyes is going to be doing here in this situation, but he's definitely been struggling lately. Again, the left-hander kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball down, but the home plate umpire points to Reyes and said he went around, and that is going to retire him for the second out of the inning. And that's going to bring up Yuki Nomura to the plate. At times, I think this game has got a quick pace to it. At other times, it just seems to want to drag. I say that because I always look at the clock. I figure if you're halfway through the game, or at least through the 5 innings in an hour and a half, you're clipping along at a pretty good pace. Well, tonight, I don't know if that's the case. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses outside. The count is 1-0 to Nomura. Just Max says, do you think that Ozeki will throw 104 tonight? As there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into shallow left field. Camping out underneath it and with room to make the catch is the left fielder Yanagamachi, and that is going to retire Nomura for the third out of the inning. So a pretty easy inning here for Ozeki. Hardly broke a sweat. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. He's now retired 5 in a row. Your score is the Fighters 1 and the Hawks 1. We'll be back with the bottom of the 4th in just a few. We'll answer some of your questions when I return right after this timeout. And do I think that he could throw 104 pitches? I would say probably could, but the other question is will the Hawks manager let him do it? Right back after this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's another Hollis build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the bottom of the fourth inning, and coming to bat for the Hawks will be Yanagamachi, Minai, and Yamamoto. So we had a question come in a little bit earlier from one of our friends here who says, does the NPB employ a pitch count or a pitch clock? And the answer to that is no. No, they don't. As the first pitch breaking ball misses up and away to Yanagamachi, count is 1-0. Again, Lai delivers. There's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count goes to 2-0. 46 pitches through the first three innings for the Fighters right-hander. It's pretty much right on song. As the pitch is on the way, it's a breaking ball that catches the outside corner, and it counts 2 balls and 1 strike. Fanch asks, how much time left to the end? They play innings here, and we are not even halfway through the game yet. There's no game clock here, unfortunately. There's a fastball that misses up and away, and it's now 3-1 to Yanagamachi. So 3 balls and 1 strike. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count now runs full. So 3 balls and 2 strikes it is. Again, the right-hander Lai ready to go. He rocks himself into the delivery. And there's a fastball that misses upstairs. It's going to be ball 4. Yanagamachi's going to get himself a leadoff walk here to start the fourth inning. And that is going to bring up the catcher in Hiroki Minai. That's the second free pass allowed tonight by Minai. By Lai, as he's about ready to face the hitter Minai. Batting .243 on the year is the catcher of the Hawks. Joe Rodriguez says, where can I watch the actual game? Well, you can listen to it right here, Joe. Where can you watch it? Well, if you go back, probably said it about 4 or 5 times in the stream. Should do that. I should feel like Alfred Hitchcock, where I should appear in the beginning of the movie, do a cameo, and then everybody else has to go hunt and peck for it. They throw it to first base and diving back to the bag as the runner Yanagamachi. And so probably Joe will also say, I just joined. Yeah, I did, which is great. And you're late on top of it, Joe. If you were here right on time, you would have heard all that information spewed right out to you. But in that being said, you can always go pick it up on pacificleague.com if you want to do your kanji. If you read kanji, here's the pitch. It's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count now 1 ball and no strikes to Minai. So runner at first, Yanagamachi, 1 ball and no strikes to Minai. As he's waggling the bat from the right side. Again, the right-hander works himself to the set position. And here comes the pitch. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. Other option could be NHK. I don't think the Tokyo Broadcasting System has the game tonight. I don't think it's on TBS. NHK would be another option. J-Sport, another option. Mike says, what is kanji? That is the Japanese script. CV in the house tonight. How you doing, CV? I was thinking about you yesterday when I was down in Everett watching the Tri-City Dust Devils and the Aqua Sox, as there's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. Count is now 1-2 to Minai. Thinking about the Visalia Rawhide team that is in his area. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is as Manai digs himself back in. Eric 2.0 says, what is Ozeki's pitch count? Well, I'll give it to you when he gets back on the mound in the next half inning. There's a split finger pitch swung on and fouled away. That's 1 ball and 2 strikes. CB says, only 4 weeks left. That can't be 4 weeks until you're back in school. You got to be there as well. Appreciate you, Joe, and for jumping in and listening in tonight. So those were your options that we've provided to you. You'll have to hunt and peck on some of those on your own. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Right-hander delivers. There's a breaking ball waved at and missed, and Manai, he went fishing for that one. It was a breaking ball. It was on the outside part of the plate. He checked all the wrong boxes. And he's going to be gone for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the right fielder in Kaida Yamamoto. Christina Egan in the house here. As the right-hander delivers a breaking ball swung on. This is going to be slapped through the 6-hole into left field. And that is going to be station-to-station baseball as Yana Gamachi is going to stop at second. Yamamoto aboard with a single. That's got something brewing here for the Hawks as they've got runners at first and second with 1 gone. And it's going to bring Isami Nomura to the plate. So now you got runners at first and second. Nomura stepping to the dish. We got a bunch of other folks that have jumped in here at some point. 33 Envy in the house here. He says, is the over 6.5 cooked? Well, we're going to find out. Here's the first pitch. It is a fastball check swing grounded foul. It is picked up on the first base side by the first baseman Nomura. So Nomura, the hitter, couldn't hold up, and Nomura, the first baseman, was able to field it in foul territory. So no balls and 1 strike it is. Good to see the gambling crowd out in force here tonight. Always entertaining when they get in the midweek games, that's for certain. So no balls and 1 strike as the right-hander again works to the set. Checks the runner at second. Here comes the pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is going to be lined into left field, rounding third, and then putting on the brakes is Yana Gamachi. That is going to load the bases. A single off the bat of Nomura. So back-to-back singles here by Yamamoto and Nomura, and now the Hawks have the bases loaded with 1 gone. And it's going to bring up the center fielder in Taisi Makihara. And it's also going to bring the big boss out of the dugout. Has he seen enough from the young Taiwanese right-hander? Well, I guess we're going to find out right now, as it looks like we may have ourselves a pitching change. I don't know why. I'd let lie. No pun intended. I'd let it lie. His day is done, as the translator came out as well. He's heading off of the mound. And so we got the bases loaded. The Fighters are going to make a pitching change, and we'll be back in just a couple of moments. Appreciate you guys for jumping in here on the Last Rounds Baseball YouTube channel. 1-1 is your scoreline, and we have a pitching change. And here is our good friend, Steve Rademacher, to tell you all about it.
Hey, where are you going? It's a pitching change. Come on, sit back down. You don't go out there. Don't go get no food or anything. You've got a big decision. Are you going to throw in there Raleigh Fingers? Maybe Goose Gossage? How about maybe Mariano Rivera or Lee Smith, Dennis Eckersley? Who knows? It's a pitching change. Come on back. You know who I would pick for this? A nice, tall, cool one. There's my pitcher. That's my pitching change. That's a winning combination. Come see my channel. You know, every day is opening day. And according to Bob, I must be in the front row. Blah.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be a left-hander coming on in relief. It is going to be Kenta Uehara, as he will take over for Sun Yi Lai, whose night is over, but he is responsible for all the runners aboard. So they are going to the bullpen here, bringing in the lefty. Lefty has got a ERA of 0 in 9 appearances this year, and they're going to need that here as he's going to be facing the center fielder Taisi Makihara, who is coming to bat. So Kenta Uehara on in relief, as he has just completed his tune-up tosses, and we are ready to get this one back underway. So a interesting start for the young Taiwanese right-hander, but lots of good future in his game, only 20 years old, as we are ready to resume the action here. As batting from the left side is Makihara. He's 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded out to second his first time up, and that would be what the Hawks would probably want here, try to get themselves a double play ball. Bases are full, and the first pitch on the way is a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is no balls and 1 strike to Makihara. Makihara entered the ballgame tonight hitting .302. And ironically, hitting in the 9 spot. So he waggles the bat, gets the start in center field tonight. Yukio Shudo getting at least the early portion of the night off. As the lefty works himself to the set position, here comes the pitch. Fastball swung on and missed, and now the count goes to 0-2. Uehara really, really hard on the lefties here. Kind of curious if they'll play the matchup game as Jeter Downs is on deck. Daijai asked the question about the pitches by Ozeki. He's not on the mound right now, so just hold your horses and stay with the game, and then when he comes out to the mound, we can give it to you. So as that fastball misses down, the count goes to 1-2. And really, the number of pitches he has, other than the fact that you're betting on it, really is no bearing in the game right now. We're in the 4th inning. It's going to be in the 5th inning. So in some ways, who cares? Long way to go in this one here. And the rule of thumb, generally speaking, is about 15 pitches per inning for every time the pitcher goes out. That's usually most teams at a professional level will target their pitchers to be at. Fastball misses down in the dirt, and the count goes to 2-2. So you got to figure if we're 4 innings deep, if they're around 60 pitches, you're in a good spot. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Makihara. Bases are juiced. 1 gone here in the 4th as the left-handed hitting Makihara waits on the offering. And again, the lefty kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on it. Is grounded through the 4-hole into right field. That's going to get a run in. Manami comes up throwing. The throw to the plate is going to hold the runner at third. So stopping at third is Yamamoto. A single off the bat of Makihara. That is going to drive in the second Hawks run. Yanagamachi comes in to score. Advancing to third is Yamamoto. Stopping at second, Nomura. And now it's going to bring the top of the order in Jeter Downs to the plate. And for Jeter Downs, well, he's been aboard every time he has come to bat tonight. He walked and he has a single and scored a run his last time up. So the Hawks now with a 2-1 lead here over the Fighters. So Jeter Downs stepping to the dish and ready to face the lefty Uehara here. He needs a ground ball. Got to try to roll a double play if they can. The pitch on the way. Fastball catches the outside corner for a called strike. See, that is where you would not exactly expect to see the calls given. In other words, the catcher was set up inside. Pitch was on the outside part of the plate. It had really reached across. Major League Baseball, generally speaking, you wouldn't get that call. But in the Japanese League, especially if you're an import hitter, it can be fair game. Here comes the 0-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball swung on and missed, and now Downs is in the hole at 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Crowd urging their home team on here as they look to pad their lead. 2-1 Hawks have just taken the lead here. Bases are still full. The lefty O'Hara ready to go again. Here comes the offering, but now he steps off backside of the rubber. He's going to cycle through the signs again with his young catcher. That run was charged to the starter lie, as 2 of the runners aboard are still his responsibility. And here's the pitch. Fastball, take it for a called 3rd strike. Downs didn't like the call, but he stood there like the house by the side of the road. He watched it go by for out number 2. And that'll bring up the second baseman in Hikaru Kawase. And if you're the Fighters, that's exactly who you want coming to bat right now, because he's not been very good tonight. He is 0 for 2. He has struck out and flown to right. His 2 trips to the plate. But if he can grind his way through this at bat, it's the tough part of the batting order coming up here for the Hawks. His average has dipped to 258 on the year with the homer and 15 runs batted in. Pitch on the way. Slow breaking ball misses inside. Backs him off the plate, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Again, batting from the left side, waiting on the offering again from the left-hander. Looks like he's changed his bat. The other night when we saw Kawase, it looks like he's got this huge knob at the end of the bat. Tonight, not so much. There's a breaking ball missing down and away, and the count now goes to 2-0. Scott says, just go ahead and walk him. There's nowhere to put him. There's nothing more it drives you crazy as you'll fall behind 3-0, and then it'll be strike 1, strike 2, and then the pitcher hits the guy. That would probably make me even more mad as a manager. So 2 balls and no strikes. Pitch on the way. Fastball, take it for a call and strike. That might have been the best pitch that Kawase is going to see in this at bat. Thanks for popping in tonight, Joe. Just as a reminder, last night or tomorrow night, we're going to be on for some Major League Baseball. We're going to be doing the first 2 games of the Padres and Giants series. So if you guys are around and like the MLB, pop in for that as well. But we will be back on the airwaves later in the week with more Japanese baseball, Friday, Saturday, North American time, the Saturday and the Sunday games. We'll have to take a look and see who's going to be playing, who's matched up. We may bounce over to the Central League. We're thinking about doing some of that. We've done some Central League games. We did a lot early in the year. And we had been stayed away. Dragons have a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the 5th over the Giants. But for the weekend, I'm not 100% sure. A lot will dictate start time. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fastball misses down, and it is now 3 balls and 1 strike to Kawase. Leaning potentially on the, if I was depending on the pitching matchup, I may consider doing the Bay Stars and the Dragons. That would be one of the games we'd lean to. In fact, that's the game we probably would lean to. I don't know if I want to watch the Lions and the Buffaloes, although that could be interesting. It's the 2 teams that are going to be battling for that last playoff spot. Certainly not going to do Chiba and the Hawks. And probably if we did the Bay Stars and the Dragons, we'd stay with it for back-to-back games. That would probably be the goal. So here comes the 3-1 offering as, again, the left-hander works himself to the belt, now delivers. Fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into center field, moving over underneath it and making the catch is Matsumoto, and that is going to do it for the 3rd out of the inning. And the Hawks, well, they threatened for more, but they only come away with 1. 1 run in the inning on the benefit of 3 hits. There was no errors and 3 runners left. That is the other thing tonight. The Hawks have left 6 aboard in the first 4 innings. If they end up losing this game, you could point to their lack of clutch hitting. We'll be back in just a few. Appreciate you for listening in on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Top of the 5th is just around the corner, and we'll be right back after this. Our friend CV says, I invested in a Jeter Downs SGC graded card. He said, maybe it didn't work out. Oh, you never know. You might be able to sell it in Japan. We'll be back in just a few right after this timeout. CV throwing his bombs. Yeah, Jeter Downs was a centerpiece, or at least a major piece of the deal that sent Mookie Betts to the Los Angeles Dodgers. And in return, the Red Sox got Jeter Downs, Alex Verdugo, and a couple of other pieces as well. Yeah, it didn't quite work out. And for everybody with a drum roll here, we'll give you Tomohisa Ozaki's pitch count as we move to the 5th inning. We'll get that for you as it comes up in a moment. Without myself having to do the quick math, I'm going to estimate that he's about 57 pitches deep. That's just me eyeballing it. We'll see what the clock gives us here. It is going to be Ishii, Umbayashi, and Mizuno. Nope, 62 pitches through 4 innings. So there you have the answer everybody's been waiting for with the drum roll. So the first pitch fastball misses inside to Ishii for ball 1. 1-0. So what's he on pace? I think he's on pace for the under. If he goes 7 innings, I don't think he is going to reach that number. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. Count goes even at 1-1. I think if I'm Ishii, I'm scratching my head on that one. That first pitch looked a lot better than that one. So 1 ball and 1 strike. As the lefty rocks himself into the windup and delivers, there's a breaking ball swung on and lifted foul over on the third base side. The count is 1-2. So Just Max says, is the under on 104 cooked? No, I think if he goes 3 more innings, this inning and 2 more, I think you're going to be all right on that 104. And I also think that they do have a bullpen that is well rested. They didn't have to use it last night as Moinello went the whole way. There was a ground ball hit over to second, fielded neatly by the second baseman Kawase, and he fires to first. And that is going to retire Ishii on a ground out 4-3. So he gets his opposite number for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the catcher in Yuki Umbayashi. Well, for Umbayashi, steps to the plate. He's 0 for 1 tonight. He's grounded the first his first time up. Still looking for his first hit of the season. He's 0 for 4. Struck out 3 times in the game against the Lions the other night. First pitch on the way. Fastball misses down and in. Count goes to 1-0. Eric says, where do you watch the NPB in the U.S.? Well, you could go to Pacific League. There's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike. DAZN used to carry it up until last year. I think DAZN Japan still does. I don't think DAZN in the States does it anymore. Some of the folks were saying the other day Dingo TV was the one that was carrying it. Pitch on the way, fastball belted foul into the stands down the left field line. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Umbiashi. Junior says, will it go over 3.5 for the first 5? This is always the crazy inning. The 5th inning is always one where things go awry. You know what? I wouldn't put it past that it might happen. Fastball swung on, grounded over to the left side of the infield, fielded on 1 hop. Oh, what a nice play by the shortstop. They've called the runner safe at first base, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to go up and have a look at it. Our friend Scott R., who was in here earlier, who was talking about the female umpire who was getting nicknamed Angela Hernandez online. Well, maybe Angel Hernandez showed up on that call at first base. That was a beautiful play by the shortstop, Namura of the Hawks. He went deep into the 6 hole on the backhand, fired over to first. We'll get a look at the replay. Not sure what the umpire was looking at. And as far as I'm concerned, he's out by a full half a step. This replay shouldn't take very long, one would have to think, unless the umpires who are looking at it are blind as well. I'm not sure. He's got him by, there's tons of space. And the umpires have come back up and easily up with the right hand. And Umbiashi is gone. Ground out 6-3. I wonder what they say to each other when they miss a call that blatant. Did you not have the right angle? Were you needing a delay in the game? So this is going to bring Tatsuki Mizuno to the plate. And for Mizuno, well, he is 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out his only trip to the dish. Ozaki's got 4 strikeouts here tonight. As the left-hander ready to go. As he kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Junior says he just needs 1 more run. Well, you've got some big power in the order for the Hawks that are coming up. And they could probably do some damage with just the solo shot as the pitch is on the way. Breaking ball misses outside. The count goes to 1-1. Levi in the house tonight. And we thank you for being here, Levi. Hopefully you can stick around. Don't forget to bookmark the channel when you can. Maybe you'll join us again for some Major League action tomorrow or on the weekend. Here's the 1-1 pitch. As the lefty again rocks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. 5th inning is the inning where there is a lot of movement that takes place. I say that because there always seems like a run is scored or a couple of runs are scored in the inning. And certainly in the next half inning with Kondo and Yamakawa coming up, they could stick one into the seats fairly effectively and fairly quickly. Here's the 2-1. Breaking ball misses down, and the count now goes to 3-1 on Mizuno. So 3 balls and 1 strike. As we mentioned, tomorrow night it'll be Major League Baseball. It's going to be the Padres and the Giants. We'll do back-to-back games. We'll get Wednesday off, Thursday off. Come back and do a Major League game in the morning on Friday, an NPB game at night. Another NPB game on Saturday evening as well. There's a fastball swung on. There goes your 3.5, possibly. Back onto the warning track, looking up. And this one is off the top of the fence. And it comes back in. And it is going to be Makihara who is going to pick it up, fire it back into the infield. And with a triple, it'll be Mizuno. He hit literally the top of the fence. The ball popped back. If that ball was about 2 inches further up, it would have been into the seats. Instead, Mizuno's got himself a 2-out triple. Got to make sure you never miss a leg day and probably mix a couple of more curls in while you're at it. It hit literally the top of the fence. And literally, you have about a 50-50 chance it could go either way. I wonder if they're going to take a look at that. I don't think they are. It is a triple for Mizuno, and that brings up the top of the order in Yuya Gunji. So, JR, if you were listening in here, I hate to laugh. That's kind of funny because that would have been your run right there. And what would the luck be? It's literally the top of the fence. And popped straight up right back. I can't. That's the part that's amazing. You would have thought it would have just carried right over. So this brings Gunji to the plate. He's 1 for 2 tonight. As the lefty delivers, it is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. All right. No balls and 1 strike. We had to put that guy in a timeout, unfortunately for him. Just come in and listen to the game, and you can rewind it. I don't have to hold people's hands. It gets annoying at times. So no balls and 1 strike. CV says, I saw they traded Mike Yastrzemski. Yeah, they traded Yastrzemski to the Kansas City Royals. Very interesting. I thought he would have been a lifer giant. There's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count goes even to 1-1 on Gunji. Mike says, where's Dennis? I think he's having a nap. He burned himself out there with the chat there. He decided to go elsewhere. Maybe he's hanging out with the guy who kept asking how many pitches that Ozeki had. So 1 ball and 1 strike. I got to make sure, maybe CV, I don't know if you've got the ability to zap or not, but maybe we might give you that honor if you so desire. Add you into the mix. I don't have a ton of mods, but be more than happy to add you in there. There's a fastball that is swung on and popped up behind the plate. Giving chase is Manai, and he's got room to make the catch. And that's going to do it here. So they strand a 2-out triple from Mizuno. And that is going to do it here for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Fighters, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. We are now officially halfway through this one. We're moving to the bottom of the 5th inning. It is going to be Kondo, Yamakawa, and Yanagamachi to come to the plate when we return after this. Bottom of the 5th is just around the corner, and we'll be back with all the action. Welcome back, everybody. It'll be Kensuke Kondo, Hotaki Yamakawa, and Tetsuro Yanagamachi to come to bat here in the 5th inning. We're just taking a look here to see if they are going to stay with Uhara or if they are going to be going to the bullpen. I would think that they may keep the lefty to at least at the bare minimum face Kensuke Kondo. 2 of the first 3 hitters to come to bat are on the left side. But, well, you don't know what is in the mind of Shinjo, the manager of the Fighters. But it is Uhara who is still there, and the first pitch delivered to Kondo is lifted into deep left field. Moving over underneath it and making the catch is Gunji. So with 1 pitch, we've got 1 away here. And that is going to bring up the first baseman in Otaka Yamakawa. So Yamakawa coming to the plate. He's doing some gardening in the right-handed batter's box. As the pitch is on the way, there's a fastball that comes inside, taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Yamakawa. Just as a reminder, after this half inning, they have we like to call our Japanese halftime, as there's a fastball that misses down. The count goes to 1-1. Or as others like to call it, it is a smoke break for some of the players. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses way upstairs. The count now goes to 2-1 on Yamakawa. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Yamakawa waggling the bat, waiting on the offering from O'Hara, who delivers a breaking ball that misses down and in, and the count now goes to 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike. Again, the right-hander hitting Yamakawa, the first baseman of the Hawks, waiting on the pitch. Will O'Hara throw to him, or is he going to dance around him a little bit? Here comes the 3-1. Fastball misses way upstairs, and we have our answer. He's danced around him as Yamakawa's going to get himself a 1-out walk. That is going to bring up the left fielder in Tetsuro Yanagamachi. So off the first goes Yamakawa, and it brings Yanagamachi to the plate. He's officially 0 for 1 tonight. He flew out to left field, and he walked and scored a run his last time up. He was the go-ahead run here for the Hawks. JR is hoping for that one more run. Well, it'll either be one more run or it'll be a double play ball here. Either way, something will happen. I just have a feeling it could be the latter of the two. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. That was 0-1 to Yanagamachi. They're going to have to be able to get Yamakawa around the bases, and that's not an easy feat. There's one big fella here he'll be clogging up the base paths. Fastball just misses up and away, and the count goes to 1-1. Scott says, is he good enough to steal second? Scott, I don't know how many stolen bases Yamakawa's got in his career, but it can't be more than what I have on one hand, or fingers I have on one hand. There's a breaking ball that misses down. Count now 2-1 on Yanagamachi. Yamakawa, just to put it in perspective, he looks like if this baseball thing wasn't working out, he might be a sumo wrestler. And he's been in the NPB since 2014, and his total number of career stolen bases is 1. Here's the pitch. Fastball taken for a called strike. Count goes to 2-2. And he's been caught once. And those were back in 2019 and 2017, respectively. So that ought to give you a perspective of how he moves around the base paths. So here comes the 2-2 pitch as Yanagamachi waits, now delivers. There's a fastball swung on it. It's going to be lifted foul down the left field line that counts 2-2. I'm sure he probably gets a lead of about, however tall he is. If he's 5'10", he could probably fall down with his arm out to be able to get back to the base. It's probably how far he is off the bag. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and missed. That's going to retire Yanagamachi. He's gone for the second out of the inning. He's going to leave it up to the catcher, Hiroki Manai. Well, for Manai, he's 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out and he's grounded to short in his 2 trips to the plate. Batting from the right side here against the lefty. As O'Hara works to the set, now delivers. There's a fastball swung on, grounded softly over to short. Fielded by Mizuno. He's got to run around the umpire, and he throws over to first base, and that is going to be a ground out 6-3 for the final out of the inning. Our friend comes in. He says, is that the Japanese Alejandro Kirk? Well, no, I would say that it's Ishikawa, the catcher for the Eagles. It would be the Japanese version of Alejandro Kirk. Well, everybody, we're going to take a little time out here. There was no runs, no hits, no errors. There was a runner left aboard. Your score is 2-1 as we move to the top of the sixth inning. It is what we like to call a Japanese halftime, as they are going to take themselves a 5-minute break, and we will come back and join you with all the action in just a few as we take this time out ourselves to refresh our beverage and to be able to give you guys the rest of the action here tonight when we return. Stay with us, everybody. It is a timeout, and we'll give you the little drum major to enjoy it with. Welcome back, everybody. Kiyomiya stepping in here at the plate, ready to face Ozeki, who kicks and delivers a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is quickly 1-0. 78 pitches for the left-hander through 5 innings of work. as he's ready to face the left-handed hitting Kiyomiya here again in the 6th. The 1-0 pitch on the way as he rocks and delivers. It is a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count now goes to 2-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Kiyomiya looked sick in his last at bat as he struck out, and he grounded out in the first inning. So he has been confused here against the lefty Ozeki here so far tonight. As the lefty rocks himself into the windup, kicks and delivers. Fastball swung on, taken on one hop by the shortstop Nomura, who throws to first. Oh, what a nice play by him, ranging to his left. That is going to retire Kiyomiya on a ground out. He goes in the book 6-3 for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the right fielder in Chusei Minami. Well, for Minami tonight, he has been Mr. Offense, and he's been the only one who has got the run for the Fighters as he hit that solo shot back in the first inning. The part of the wall that Tatsuki Mizuno hit in the last half inning. It was Minami who cleared it by about 2 inches. It was a complete wall scraper in inning number 1. As the pitch from Ozeki on the way is a fastball that is obliterated foul, but it's going to hook foul into the seats down the left field line. Count is 0-1 to Minami. So no balls and 1 strike. Minami digs himself back in, waiting on the offering here from the left-hander, who kicks and delivers. There's a really slow breaking ball that misses way outside. Count runs even to 1-1. I guess that's one way to disrupt the timing of the hitter, throwing something as soft as that. Again, the lefty rocks himself into the motion and delivers. Another breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-2. So a ball and 2 strikes it is. Don't know what happened to our friend Dijaj there. He kept asking for all the updates on Ozeki. And here is Ozeki with his 85th pitch of the ball game, and he delivers a breaking ball that misses down and in. The count now goes to 2-2. So do I think he's going to finish under 104 pitches if that was the line for tonight's game? It'd be interesting. It's going to be close here. He's going to have to do some quick work here with the Fighters in this half inning, and then we'll have to see if they're going to bring him back out for inning number 7. And he has gone at least 7 innings in his last 5 starts, so that's the other intriguing part to this. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Minami. Go Matsumoto waiting his turn on deck. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and chopped foul down the third baseline. Oh, boy. That was kind of strange. The way that ball, it looked like he hooked right around it was Minami. So 2-2. CV says, unlike Major League Baseball, NPB allows betting. Well, no, the players and the management can't bet. And in fact, online betting in Japan, period, is not legal. They have had some problems with the players. There was a lot of players this year have raised their hands saying that they online gamble. And the 2-2 is on the way. It is a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes to 3-2. So, you can't even play casino games online. And as you know, there's ways to get around it. People have the VPNs. They have different ways. And where there's a will, there's a way, but completely illegal. I guess if there were large sums of money that were being transferred, that would be the case. So 3 balls and 2 strikes as the left-hander rocks into the motion and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded over to second, fielded neatly by Kawase. He throws to first, and Minami's going to be gone on a ground out 4-3 for the second out of the inning. And that is going to bring up the center fielder in Go Matsumoto. So there was certain players, certainly of the Oryx Buffaloes, one of their pitchers, Taisuke Yamaoka, he got himself sent home in spring training because of the investigation, cooperated with the police in the Osaka area. Then, of course, there were some others that were fingered more recently. Lions Shudatono Saki. There's a fastball swung on. It's popped up over on the first base side. Underneath it is Yamakawa. He's there to make the catch in foul territory, and Matsumoto is going to be gone for the third out of the inning. And that is going to do it here for the Fighters in their half of the sixth. They go quietly. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are moving to the bottom half of inning number 6. The big boss is coming out. That means there's more to likely a pitching change to happen when we return right after this timeout. We're moving ourselves to the bottom half of inning number 6. It's going to be Yamamoto, Nomura, and Makihara to come to bat when we return right after this timeout. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Yamamoto, Nomura, and Makihara to come to bat here in the bottom half of inning number 6. The Fighters are going to the bullpen as they are going to be calling upon a right-hander. It's going to be number 48. It's going to be Yukiya Saito, who is on in relief. So Saito on in relief as he is taking over here for Muhara, he is now the third pitcher used tonight for the Fighters. So Yamamoto, Nomura, and Makihara to come to bat. And Yamamoto today 1 for 3. The first pitch is a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. As the right-hander delivers again. And there is a fastball ticket for a called strike. The count is 1-1. CV, I might be putting you to work sooner than later here. I'm not sure why. That might be it. There is a pitch that misses down, and count goes to 2-1. Getting a little bit perturbed, a couple of these folks, as the 2-1 pitch is on the way. There's a pitch that misses down. They appealed to the third base umpire, but they said Yamamoto didn't go. It's now 3-1. So 3 balls and a strike. And there is a pitch that's swung on and missed. Count now full. Oh, there's a fastball swung on. It is hammered foul down the third baseline, almost takes out the third base coach. As there you go, CV. You've just earned yourself a wrench. Full count pitch on the way. It is a split finger pitch, swung on and missed. Yamamoto's in the books. He's gone for the first out of the inning. Now it's going to bring up the shortstop, and it's Sami Nomura. CV says, I assume you're blocking them. No, we actually gave you the wrench. Haven't fired anything else out yet. Only one so far. Just had enough of the nonsense. There's something called an arrow on your screen. You can just go rewind it and listen up. I guess we can't do everything. Got to hold hands. There's a fastball swung on it. It's taken on one hop by Mizuno. He fires to first, and with one pitch, Nomura is going to be retired on a ground out 6-3. He's gone for the second out of the inning, and that's going to leave it up to the center fielder in Taisi Makihara. Just put him at a timeout, and maybe we can figure it out after that. That's how I kind of look at that. And there's another one. just goes on and on and on. So we've got two gone here, and it'll be Taisi Makihara, who is coming to the plate. He's 1 for 2. He's got a single and 2 trips. He's also driven in a run. It was the second run of the ball game to put the Hawks ahead. And there is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count now is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Got to just be able to sit back and enjoy the ball game and pay attention and listen. Here's the pitch. It is a split finger pitch, swung on and missed. Count is 0-2, and then actively engaged as opposed to being a parrot. Parrots usually repeat things on a regular basis. Hard to teach a new dog or an old dog new tricks. So no balls and 2 strikes. As the right-hander delivers again, it is a fastball that misses down. Count now goes to 1-2 on Makihara. Yeah, usually I just run them in a timeout, and if it gets, whatever else, then you zap them for good. We used to have bots. That's one thing that we don't have. A few years ago, I give YouTube a lot of credit. They really got rid of the bots. Now we got the human bots. Fastball swung on. This ball is lifted, foul. It's going to reach the seats down the third baseline, and the count now is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Makihara. 2-1 the scoreline here. Bottom of the 6th inning. Hawks enjoying the lead, as they have done for much of the series. They have outscored the Fighters 7-2 over the course of these 3 games so far. There's a fastball that misses down in the dirt. Good stop there by the catcher. We can also appreciate, too, that there are some folks who come in and really don't know the sport, or they just come because they want to gamble, and that's okay, too. 2 balls and 2 strikes. As the pitch is on the way, there's a fastball swung on. This is going to be grounded up the middle into center field for a base hit. Makihara's hot hitting continues as he's got himself a 2-out single. And that is going to bring the top of the order up in Jeter Downs. So Downs coming to the plate. He has singled, he's walked, and he has struck out in his 3 trips. He has also scored the first run of the ball game for the Hawks. It is now 4:09 or 16:09 if you use the military time in Japan right now. If you're in North America, it is just past the witching hour on the West Coast. It is 3:10 Eastern. As the pitch misses upstairs, the count is 1-0 to Downs. Absolutely. Scott R. holding it down for him. Two guys are off right now discussing over the beers. I don't understand why. There's a fastball ticket for a called strike. Just asked a simple question 75 times every inning. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Downs taps both sides of the plate as he digs himself back in. The 1-1 pitch coming here from Saito. As the right-hander delivers, there's a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes to 2-1. It's one thing that is unfortunately, you don't get it at most of the ballparks in Japan is you don't get a chance to see who's warming up and when they're warming up. The only park that you do is where the Lions play. And they're not on the field; they're off to the side. Bullpens are almost like built into the stands. They're kind of wasting some seating. But that's exactly where they are. You can see them on the field, but everywhere else across the NPB, I don't think there's anywhere else that they're warming up on the field. I can't think of at the Koshin Stadium. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think they're underneath too, but I haven't seen enough games there. There's a split finger pitch swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 2-2 on Downs. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, getting the signs from his catcher, Umbiyashi. Right-hander Saito ready to go again. Here comes the 2-2. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and missed, and Downs is retired on strikes. He's gone for the 3rd out of the inning. And that is going to do it here for the Hawks in their half of the inning. They had no runs. They did have a hit, no errors, and there was a runner left aboard. We're now 2/3 of the way in the books. And I got to tell you this, the manager is out. He's talking to the umpire. And if you want to know if Ozeki's coming back in, I would say the chance of that happening are probably quite low right now. We'll be back in just a few after this timeout. Well, our friend Just Max has paid his fine. He's back in the house here. And we can tell you that Ozeki's night is done. You don't have to worry about any more of his pitch counts. He's done at 89 pitches, as that is where it is at. So if you had him at the under, you could pump a fist as the Hawks are going to the bullpen, and they are bringing in a right-hander. And we'll get that for you here in just a couple moments. It's kind of like when Gracie Lynn comes in and puts the money in the tardy jar. And the next thing you know is we got this going on here as well. So there you have it. Well, the Hawks are going to the pen. And it is going to be the right-hander. We'll get you that here in just a second. My guess it could be Matsumoto, as he is one of those ones that would be a likely candidate, although it doesn't look like it. It looks like it could be Fuji. It is Koya Fuji, the right-hander coming in. Koya Fuji was an important part of the bullpen a couple of years ago. Looks like he's back on track. He's got his ERA is at 1.37. He's making his 41st appearance of the year. The former Hiroshima Carp. So Koya Fuji on in relief. And that is where we put it here. So here he is, facing Franmil Reyes to get things going. And the first pitch on the way is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike it is. to Reyes. Again, the right-hander ready to go. As he kicks and fires, there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right field, moving back just in front of the warning track, but with room to make the catch. Is the right fielder Yamamoto, and that is going to put Reyes away for the first out of the inning. I got to do a double check on that to see if it is still Yamamoto in right field. Reyes, the former Guardian or Indian, he hit 30 homers with the Indians a few years ago. So one gone here. The Franimal also spent time with the Cubs. I think maybe the Padres as well. There's a fastball that swung on. This is lifted foul. The count is quickly 0-1 to Yuki Nomura. Nomura 1 for 2 tonight. He's got a double and 2 trips. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Hawks. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Fighters. And the right-hander Fuji holds to the set. Here comes the 0-1. There's a breaking ball that bounces up to the plate, and the count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Had to look to see, as I said, if Yamamoto's still in right. It does show that he's still in right field. Of course, it does show that Ozeki's still on the mound, and that we know that is for fact is not the case. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count's 1-2 to Nomura. You haven't updated the box scores yet, which is a bit disappointing. Looked like, at least in our books, looked like it was Kawamura who had moved out into right field, but there was no updates given here. There was a pitch that is a breaking ball down. It's now 2-2 to Nomura. Good stop there by the catcher Manai. Bottom of the 6th inning. 2-1 for the Hawks. Game has settled down a little bit here. And for a 2-1 game, for as long as this seems to be dragging here, that's the one thing that kind of frustrates you sometimes, where the game is clipping along at a good pace. And you got this one here tonight. It just seems like it's just, the wheels are just grinding. Split finger pitch misses down. It's now 3-2 to Nomura. Bottom of the 6th inning, 2-1 for the Hawks. Again, the right-hander works himself to the belt. Here comes the pitch. Kicks and delivers. Breaking ball swung on it. It is grounded foul, but it looked like it had hit off the front foot or the shin of Nomura. It was a split finger pitch. Yeah, he drove it right into the shin guard. Count remains at 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Again, the right-hander works himself to the set position. Here comes the pitch. Kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on. This is going to be line foul into that temporary seating down the left field line, and the count remains at 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. And certainly the bullpen of the Hawks, especially Fuji, just has a way to work really, really, really slowly. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Fastball swung on. This is belted into deep left center field. This ball is going to get trouble. It's going to get down and it's going to get off the wall. Fielded by the center fielder, and he fires it back in. It also looks like that there's a new center fielder too. I don't think that's Makihara, but that's going to be a double off the bat of Nomura. That's the second double of the ball game. He also did it with 1 out back in the 2nd inning. And that's going to be the end of the night for him. So that's your reward. You get 2 base hits and you get taken out of the ball game for a pinch runner. It's going to bring Kaz Ishii to the plate. Kazunori Ishii is 0 for 2 tonight in this one. We're looking to see if they had updated the reports. And they finally, it looks like they have. It is Kawamura who's gone into right field. He replaced Jeter Downs. They have some wholesale changes. Other changes to make note. It looks like that the center fielder is now Naoki Sato. Boy, I haven't seen Sato around in a while. And that is moving Taisi Makihara into second base. And Kawase has moved over to play shortstop. There's a pitch that is down, and they feign a throw down to second base. Good block there by Manai. So 1 ball and no strikes to Ishii. I'll have to get everybody caught up on that as it comes around. So interesting that Jeter Downs' night is done. As the right-hander again works himself to the set position. And the pitch is a split-finger pitch, swung on and missed. Count now goes to 1-1 on Ishii. Just getting myself caught up on some of the others. And it is Yamamoto who is done in right field, as we mentioned. And the 1-1 pitch, fastball misses inside, and the count now goes to 2-1. Two balls and one strike. Really works slowly, does Fuji. He just takes his sweet time. He's unlike some of the other pitchers like Yamamoto from the Fighters the other night, who gets the ball and just lets it rip. Fastball swung on and lifted foul off the bat of Ishii, and the count is now 2-2. Scott's looking for ball 4. Well, 2 balls and 2 strikes here. Runner at second. Well, it was Nomura. We didn't get the pinch runner for Nomura. We'll have to try to see if they have issued that as well. It looks like it's Nakajima who is running. We'll see if he stays in the ball game. As the right-hander again holds to the set, here comes the 2-2 pitch. On its way, fastball swung on and lifted foul down the left field line. Count remains at 2-2. Takuya Nakajima, the 34-year-old, on to run. Once upon a time, he was a 30 base stealer, or stole 30 bags. Also stole 20 bases multiple times in the NPB. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. As it's on its way, it is a fastball swung on and chopped foul down the first base line. The count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ishii. Crowd for the Fighters cheering on the home side here. Or cheering on the road side. They might be cheering on the home side, wanting this game to pick up the pace. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. On its way, it's a breaking ball swung on and lifted foul. It's going to reach the seats over on the third base side. Count remains at 2-2. Battle continues. It's not been an easy inning for Fuji. As he's come under the pen, he's had to throw a lot of pitches already. Able to get Reyes swinging on the first pitch that Reyes saw. They flew out to right field, and then it's been a battle ever since. This will be the 18th pitch of the inning coming up here. As the right-hander works himself to the belt. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. On its way, and it's a split-finger pitch, swung on and missed. And Ishii's in the books. He's gone for the second out of the inning. And it's slated to bring up the catcher in Yuki Umbayashi. So 2 gone here. We're going to wait and see if it is going to be Umbayashi. My guess is that his night will be done. I would think that they got enough firepower on the bench. You'd have to wonder when Ariel Martinez will make an appearance, or Shun Mizutani. CV says he's going to crash out. CV, at the rate this game is going, we might see again in about 4 hours' time. But we always appreciate you for popping into the stream. So it is going to be Ariel Martinez to come in to pinch hit. We're just curious to see if he stays in the game behind the dish. So Martinez in for Umbayashi, as he bats here from the right side against the right-hander. It could be a turning point in the ball game. Here comes the pitch from Fuji. Pitch on the way, fastball off the outside corner, taken for a ball, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Ariel Martinez has been an important part of his time in the Fighters lineup, although I have to say this year here, he has not been as important as other times that he's been used by the Fighters. He's raised his average to 207. Pitch on the way, breaking ball, waved at and missed, and the count goes even to 1-1. He does have a homer and 8 RBIs, but that is well off the pace of what he did the last couple of years, where he hit 15 and 13 homers respectively. One would have to think that you have to wonder if Martinez will be back in the lineup. The 29-year-old, will he still be with the Fighters next year, or are they going to move on from him? And he has done his part, been a stable pony for some of the younger Fighter players. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball swung on. It is lifted up down the right field line, giving chase, and they're going to watch it drift into the seats as the right fielder Kawamura and the second baseman Makihara all came over towards the fence down the right field line, but just wasn't enough to stay in the field of play. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is here to the pinch hitter of the Fighters. Fuji gets a new baseball, and he slowly saunters back up to the mound. Got to tell you, the game is on Fuji's pace at this point. Everybody's kind of in his world, and we're just living in it. So here comes the 1-2 pitch to Martinez. On its way, and that's a split finger pitch. Swung on and missed, and Martinez is gone for the 3rd out of the inning. And that is going to do it here for the Fighters in their half of the 7th. No runs in the inning. They strand a 1-out double off the bat of Nomura. There was 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. We're moving to the bottom of the 7th inning. Your score is the Hawks 2 and the Fighters 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action. Appreciate those of you who are listening in with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. And for those who want an update, Ozeki is out of the ball game at 89 pitches. His night is over. We'll be right back in just a few, right after this timeout. Scoreline is 2-1 for the Hawks. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is a pitching change here, as it is going to be Toshio Tamai on the hill, as there are some changes for both the fighters and the defensively here, and we'll try to get caught up with that in just a couple moments. So Toshio Tamai on the hill. He is the fourth pitcher used tonight by the fighters. As the pitch is on the way, it's a 2-0 offering. Fastball taken for a called strike. The count is now 2-1 to Hikaru Kawase. Kawase, Kondo, and Yamakawa here to get things going for the Hawks in their half of the seventh. As the 2-1 on the way, as a breaking ball swung on, is grounded over to first, neatly fielded, and there he's going to step on the bag. That would have been the pinch runner who came in. That is Nakajima, as he is able to make the play at first base, and that will retire Kawase for the first out of the inning, a ground out to 3 for out number 1. So interesting that Takuya Nakajima stays in. I would have thought there might have been some other options at first base rather than him. Here comes the first pitch to Kondo. It's a fastball that misses outside. The count is 1-0. Kondo tonight has a double in 3 trips. He's also driven in the first run of the ball game for the Hawks. Batting from the left side here. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, it is a breaking ball that misses inside, and the count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Kondo waggling the bat. Waiting here on the offering from the right-hander. Pitch is on the way. It is a fastball that misses low and in. Count now goes to 3-0. Well, you certainly don't want to put ducks on the pond for Yamakawa. You can clear him off in a pretty big hurry. So here comes the 3-0 pitch as the right-hander kicks and fires. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 3-1 on Kondo. God is great, says I have eaten green tea, shaved ice himself. There's a fastball that misses inside, and Kondo's going to be aboard with a 1-out walk. I'll bring up Hotaka Yamakawa to the plate. I don't think I've ever had... I had shaved ice actually last night at the game I was at, but it was pretty warm early on, and then it got pretty cool once you got past the 6th inning. I don't think I've ever had that. What I did have when I was in Maui, you could get shaved ice with ice cream. Was it Alani's? Or Ulani's shaved ice? Here comes the first offering to Yamakawa. It's on its way. It's a fastball missing way up and away. Count is 1-0. Scoreline is 2-1. We're here in the top of the 7th inning. Hawks have the lead. The Fighters scored first on a home run by Chusei Manami, and then a RBI double by Kondo in the 3rd inning, even the score. As there's a fastball swung on. This ball is going to get lined into left field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Stopping at second is Kondo, and so now the Hawks have something brewing here. As Yamakawa has himself a base hit. That's his 2nd hit of the night, the 3rd time he's reached base. Now it's going to bring Tetsuro Yanagamachi to the plate. I was giving you the rundown, and the other run scored by the Hawks was Yanagamachi was driven in by Makihara in the fourth. That is where we're at in this one. That was actually a really good piece of hitting there by Yamakawa. He had to really pull his hands tight inside to stay inside the baseball to line that into left field for the knock. Brings Yanagamachi to the plate. 0 for 2 tonight with the walk and a run scored. Average is at 3.0. Sorry, 290 on the season. I thought it was 306. I misread that. Fastball swung on, popped up into shallow right center field. It's in the Bermuda Triangle. Coming in underneath it is Matsumoto. He's there to make the catch as he calls everybody off. And that is not a good at bat by Yanagamachi. You got runners at first and second, and the best you could do is a pop up on a belt high fastball. Not going to be a happy camper. That's for sure. So he's gone for the second out. It is slated to bring the catcher Hiroki Manai to the plate. Looks like we're going to have ourselves a pinch hitter here. We'll get that for you here in just a moment. It looks like it is going to be is it going to be Akira? Is it Akira Nakamura? I don't think so. I'll have to take a look here. It is Akira Nakamura. They call him the lefty sniper. So he is coming in to pinch hit for Hiroki Manai. So his night will be done. I would think Umino will probably be coming in, or maybe Tanagawara. So Akira Nakamura to pinch hit. With runners at first and second and 2 gone. Nakamura batting .241 on the year, homer and 22 runs batted in. Did not get the nod in tonight's game to start, but in a very important position coming off the bench. Here's the pitch. First pitch, fastball misses down, and the count is 1-0. Naoki Sato, who entered the ball game the last inning, is on deck, waiting his first at bat. Another potential turning point in the ball game here. Nakamura waiting on the offering here from the right-hander Tamai as he works to the set. Here's the 1-0. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball drops in for a called strike, and the count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. The other game that's going on is in the Central. It's in the top of the 9th inning. And the Giants are trailing the Dragons 2-0. And it looks like that game is over. Looks like that is going to be it. I do believe that game is... No, actually, sorry, it's top of the 9th inning. It's going to the bottom of the 9th inning with the Giants trailing 2-0 in that one. As that pitch misses down, it's now 2-1 to Nakamura. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Again, Kondo establishing the lead over at second. 2 balls and 1 strike to the pinch hitter Nakamura. The right-hander holds to the set. He checks the runner. And the pitch on the way. It's a breaking ball missing way outside. It's now 3-1 to the left-handed hitting Nakamura. And it is Naoki Sato who waits his turn on deck, so we'll see how that shapes up. He's going to get a chance to hit. 3-1 pitch. Nakamura's going to get something sweet here, one would think. Here we go. Here comes the offering. Kicks and delivers. Fastball catches the inside corner for called strike, and now it's 3-2. And now the runners are going to be off to the races here. See that? We were talking about that earlier. The catcher set up outside. The pitcher missed his spot badly. It may have hit the inside corner, but just how he had to reach across his body to receive that ball is never a good look for the home plate umpire. With all the technology in Major League Baseball now, you see where the pitchers are coming across the plate. They don't take into effect some of the other stuff. There's a fastball swung on, is grounded into left field. And there's going to be a play at the plate, but it's not going to be in time. Sliding in safely is Kondo. It's going to be an RBI single for Nakamura. It's going to score Kondo. Yamakawa is going to advance to second base. He's not going to be able to go first to third. That puts runners at first and second and increases the score line to 3-1 now for the Hawks. And I was going to bring Naoki Sato to the plate. It was a split finger pitch. It was actually a good piece of hitting there by Nakamura. He just fired the bat at it. Almost hit the runner, by the way. Kondo going from second to third. As he comes in with a head-first slide and slides in safely. So Kondo, the third run of the game here for the Hawks. And Nakamura gets himself an RBI. It's 22nd of the year. Here's the pitch. First pitch, breaking ball delivered to Sato. Take it for a called strike. Count is 0-1. Sato entered the ball game in the spot for Yamamoto. As he moved into center field, it allowed Taisi Makihara to slide into second base. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. There's a fastball that just misses outside. Count runs even to 1-1. Sal says he was back. He was at training. He's coming back to free money with the Hawks in the lead. Well, possibly. If you've had the Hawks in this one, I mean, it's never over till it's over, or at least until the fat lady sings, as they used to say at the opera. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. On its way, breaking ball misses outside, and the count now goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. And Sal, in case you missed it, Ozeki is out of the game at 89 pitches. So I'll give you that update as well. So 2 balls and 1 strike. As Sato waits here. Runner at second, Yamakawa. Runner at first is Nakamura. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into right field, moving over toward the foul line. Is he going to have room to make the catch? And slamming into the wall, but the ball is going to get away from Manami. He gave a great effort to try to get it. And he's not able to come up with that. That's going to be a second strike here for Sato. Ball was slicing right into the temporary seating. Manami had run over. He had reached up to try to make the catch, unable to do so. Ball pinballed around and ended up coming back out onto the field, but it's 2 balls and 2 strikes here to Naoki Sato. Sal said he bet on it because somebody told him it was a lock. There you go. Here's the 2-2. Fastball swung on it, breaks the bat, and it's going to be lifted just into shallow center field, but backing up on it is Ishii. He's going to be there to make the catch, and that is going to do it here for the third out of the inning. But the Hawks extend their lead. 1 run in the inning on the benefit of 2 hits. There was no errors and 2 runners left aboard. Your scores, we are now through 7 complete. It is the Hawks 3 and the Fighters 1. Stick around, everybody. The top of the 8th inning is just around the corner. We'll have to update our ticker when we return right after this timeout.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters to come to bat here for the Fighters in their half of the 8th inning, and that would be Mizuno, Gunji, and Kiyomiya. That run in the bottom half of the 7th inning is a big piece here. They are going to the bullpen as the Hawks will be calling upon Yuki Matsumoto. He came in the other night, pitched very, very well. So he is making an appearance, his 35th appearance of the year. He's got a 1.08 earned run average. And I would think that obviously we're not going to see Roberto Osuna tonight. But if everything goes as planned, I would think that it'll be Sugiyama for the 9th. They do have a new catcher behind the plate. It is going to be Takashi Umino who is coming in to catch. So he will be where Nakamura was. So Takashi Umino in behind the dish. And the first pitch delivered to Mizuno, a fastball ticket for a called strike. The count is 0-1. We're getting into the deep water, and it is going to be very close to see if they're going to be able to make a comeback in this one. The fastball misses outside. Running out of outs are the Fighters. Their only offense tonight, a Chusei Manami home run. Junior wants to know, can one more run happen? Maybe. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count goes to 1-2. I would think that the chances for the Fighters to score a run here has gotten a lot less because they're getting into the tough part of the bullpen now. Matsumoto and, as we said, Sugiyama potentially for the 9th inning. And there's a breaking ball swung on tap foul right behind home plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. Yeah, that's getting 2 runs for that. I don't know if you got some good prayers or you know somebody you can call, maybe a priest or whatever, to give you a Hail Mary or 2, but I think you're going to be in some trouble. That is for certain. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. On its way, fastball swung on, lifted into deep left field. Moving back with plenty of room to make the catch is Yanagamachi, and that's going to retire Mizuno for the first out of the inning. So 1 gone. That'll bring up the top of the order and Yuya Gunji. Well, for Gunji tonight, he's officially 1 for 3. He's got a single and 3 trips. Fighters have had 5 hits tonight. Hawks have had 9. Difference is that the Fighters haven't really been able to string their hits together or to use that in a combination of walks, as the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses outside. Count is 1-0 to Gunji. And that has been a difference in this game here. The Fighters, with their 5 hits, they have not drawn a single walk. There's a breaking ball ticket for a called strike. Count now goes to 1-1 on Gunji. Yeah, you've got to be able to string some hits and some stuff together if you're trying to live and die by the solo shot. Probably less likely to live. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes as the right-hander again works himself set. And now he kicks and fires. There's a fastball taken at the knees for called 3rd strike. Oh, I don't know what Gunji was looking at. Stood there like the house by the side of the road. He watched it go by for out number 2. And that is going to bring up the third baseman in Kotaro Kiyomiya. We'll get a look at the replay on that one. I got no complaints on that. So that brings Kiyomiya to the plate. He's 0 for 3 tonight. He has grounded to second, grounded to short, and has struck out on the in-between as he grounds that one foul, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Kiyomiya. Batting on the left side here against the right-hander as Matsumoto works himself set. Now delivers. There's a breaking ball waved at and missed. The count now goes to 0-2. I have to say, Kiyomiya, when he's going well, he really, really goes well. And then there's other times that he looks absolutely sick. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. That's a split finger pitch. It misses down. It gets away from the catcher, and the count now goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kiyomiya. Looking ahead to the Hawks' 8th inning, they'll be sending the 8, 9, and 1 hitters to the plate. Nomura, Makihara, and the top of the order in Kawamura. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Right-hander kicks and delivers. It is a split finger pitch, waved out and missed. Oh, that's going to do it here in the 8th inning as Matsumoto comes in and makes it look easy. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. You're now moving to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's like the Fighters are going to make another pitching change. We've got pitching changes all over the place. We'll be back in just a few as it is a 3-1 scoreline as we move to the bottom half of inning number 8. Be right back after this. We got a score line of 3-1, bottom of the 8th, just around the corner. Here's our good friend, Steve.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining Freddie here on his baseball game. And I'm Steve Rademacher, and my channel is really all about everybody, including all my international friends. We have such stuff as non-sport packs from Canada, the OP Cheese. We have the Greek Freak. We have money from around the world. We have lira. We have yen. We have francs. We have pounds. We have Deutschmarks. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that. We even have some cooler things like Japanese women wrestlers and OP-Chi baseball cards where I cannot read the back. We even have unopened material like the royal family, I know it's backwards, from London, England. Thank you for watching. Back to Freddie.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the bottom half of inning number 8, and we do have a pitching change for the Fighters. It is going to be number 24, Shoma Kanamura. He is coming on in relief here, and he's going to be the pitcher number 5 used tonight by the Fighters. Both of these ball clubs, they have a pretty lockdown bullpen. Once you get through the starters, if you've got the lead, it is going to be like breaking into Fort Knox. It's pretty difficult to do. And the first pitch on the way, it is a fastball that misses down to Isami Nomura, and the count is 1-0. For Isami Nomura, he is 1 for 3 tonight. Got a single in 3 trips. He's grounded out and popped out. Pitch down. They appeal over to the first base umpire, but they say it didn't go, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. And the right-hander working himself to the belt. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is going to be hammered up the middle into center field for a base hit. They have to hurry to cut over to cut it off. And they're going to be able to hold Nomura to a long single as he's got himself a leadoff knock here to start the inning. And that'll bring up the second baseman, Taisi Makihara. Well, I'd be interested to see if Makihara would be scoring the bunt here in this situation. It is a league that does bunt, and I know the Hawks do like to bunt sometimes. But they're going to take the bat out of Makihara's hands. He's been swinging it pretty good so far here tonight. He has a couple of singles. He's driven in a run. He's also grounded out, so 2 for 3 tonight. Raised his season average up to 307. As they throw over to first and diving back safely is the runner Nomura. So Makihara waits, and the pitch on the way is a fastball swung on, and it is lined just foul. Oh boy. Nakajima had to dive back, make the catch in foul territory, which he did. But the ball was just ruled foul by the umpire. If he did, they would have ruled themselves a double play if that ball would have been in fair territory. What a fantastic athletic play by the first baseman of the Fighters. So again, Kanemaru ready to go back to work. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on, lifted into straightaway center field. Underneath it is Matsumoto. He's there to make the catch, and retreating back to first is Nomura. So one gone here in the 8th, and that's going to bring up the top of the order. As that is going to bring Kuwahara to the plate. Well, for Kuwahara, or Kawamura, I should say, on the season, this is only his 3rd at-bat. And he's 0 for 2. And the first pitch on the way is a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. This is Yuto Kawamura, if you're wondering along with us. Getting his first at-bat here of the evening after replacing Jeter Downs. Batting from the left side against the righty. Here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. Count now, no balls and 2 strikes. Nate asked the question, are you doing any other games? Not tonight. We're going to do 2 games tomorrow, and one on Monday, one on Tuesday. We're going to do some Major League Baseball. It'll be the Padres and the Giants. Have a couple of days off. Then we'll do a couple of Japanese games, the Saturday and the Sunday games. They're saying most likely it'll be the Dragons and Bay Stars, just because of the way the timing of those games will match up. As they throw over to first and diving back safely is Nomura. But that is pretty much about it for tonight. Are other games that are going on, but sleep is of the priority. Fastball misses down, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Kawamura. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. Fighters, as relaxed as they were in the last series against the Lions, they are far from it. If they lose tonight, it'll be 4 in a row. And they've got a crack to try to get some runs back here against the Hawks, and it's not looking good. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. And instead, the right-hander throws over to first base, and diving back in time is Nomura. Nate says, what games tomorrow? It'll be the Giants and the Padres. If you're in for Major League Baseball, it'll be 6:45 Pacific, 9:45 on the East Coast. First pitch, that'll be both nights. Logan Webb goes tomorrow, and Robbie Ray, the Tuesday game for the Giants. Padres were yet to announce their starters. Fastball misses down, and the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. So we are curious to see exactly who the Padres. Oh, it looks like Yu Darvish will go tomorrow against Logan Webb. So Darvish picked up his first win the other day. So be curious to see that. Yu Darvish. And it'll be Nestor Cortez for the Padres against Robbie Ray on Tuesday. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Split finger pitch misses down. It's now 3-2 to Kawamura. So Kanemura on the mound, Kawamura at the plate. 3 balls and 2 strikes here. Let's see if they put the runner Nomura in motion. So here comes the full count pitch, but instead, runner has stepped out. Or the batter, I should say, has stepped out, asking for time, and they're going to go through this again. So here comes the 3-2 offering as the right-hander works himself to the belt. And he pauses forever. Now the pitch. Breaking ball swung on, grounded up the middle. They go to second for 1, back to first. It's not going to be in time. It's going to be a fielder's choice. It's going to erase Nomura. He goes in the books 6-4 for the second out of the inning. Kawamura, with his speed, able to reach safely on the back end. That's a fielder's choice. Our friend says Quintana against Heaney tomorrow. I assume that is the Brew Crew. And the Pirates. We won't be doing that one, that's for sure. Timing of the game is too early for us. There's a fastball that misses up, and the count is 1-0. It'll be Darvish and Webb. That's the Padres-Giants matchup. Looked at maybe doing Yamamoto tomorrow night. I'd like to see him, but I just like the overall Padre-Giants head-to-head opportunity a lot better than the one between the Dodgers and the Angels. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball that backs Kawase off the plate. Is now 2-0. Kawase looking for his first hit of the night. He's 0 for 4. Nate asks, how do you watch the NPB live? Well, it depends. Everything's all a little different. DAZN in Japan will carry games. PacificLeague.com will carry games. There's a breaking ball that is swung on. It has popped up in foul territory over on the third base side. Kiyomiya over underneath it. He's there to make the catch, and that is going to do it as the Hawks are gone for the third out of the inning. No runs in the inning. There was 1 hit. There was no errors, and there was 1 runner left aboard. We're moving to the top of the 9th inning. Looking ahead, it's Manami, Matsumoto, and Reyes to come to bat. We'll be back in just a couple moments. That is some major firepower. We'll see how it shapes up here when we return in just a couple moments. Appreciate you for listening on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Right back after this timeout from our friend Steve. Where'd you go, Steve? To get you the peanuts.
Hello, everybody. And you know why we're here? Well, of course you do. You'd be nuts not to be here to watch Freddie call another game. Freddie, the king of kings on baseball commentary. You know what? Come to think of it, with Freddie, there's absolutely nothing hotter than listening to him broadcast. Not even the Reaper Triple X puckered butt squeezins hot sauce. We'll just give it a whirl here. All right, Freddie. Cheers. Mm-hmm. Holy cow, that may be a close second to you, Freddie. Still the hottest broadcast right now on YouTube. Peace out. Call a great game.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Kazuki Sugiyama coming in, making his 48th appearance. The right-hander has an ERA of 1.54 as he is taking over here for the second time in the series. He pitched in the ball game on Friday night and picked up a save. So he is ready to come on in here for the Hawks in this one. Scott says, any insight on the Carp Tigers? Yeah, pretty quickly on that one. That game has been rained out. There's your answer. Carp Tigers rained out, so there's your insight. 2-0, the Dragons beat the Giants in the other ball game that was going on. Top of the first inning is underway at the Zozo Marine Stadium. It's 0-0 with the Buffaloes and the Marines. Well, here comes Chusei Minami to the bats as he steps in. And the first pitch is a fastball that misses down, and the count is quickly 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Minami. Minami tonight has been the only run for the Fighters. He homered in the first inning, and then after that, he struck out and grounded out. He swings and misses at that pitch as it's a split finger, and the count now goes even to 1-1. Scott says, still showing 4 a.m. Yeah, no, that game was postponed a couple hours ago. Fastball swung on, taken on one hop by the third baseman, Namura. He gets up, he fires to first. Oh, that's a web gem. If you're on Instagram tonight, be sure to look at that one. That's going to go down as a book as a ground out 5-3 for the first out here in the inning, and that is going to bring up the center fielder and Go Matsumoto. So 2 outs to get here. A great defensive play by the third baseman, Namura. Well, Matsumoto tonight, 0 for 3. And he swings at the first pitch, and he hits a line drive right off the back of the pitcher. They're going to have to hurry to get him, but they're not going to be able to get him. Oh, boy, Sugiyama turned, and just the way that he finished, you could see that Matsumoto, and they always do this, they always shake off the trainer. The trainer comes out, he throws a couple of pitches, he goes back to work, and he's ignoring the trainer. He's get away. Tell him, get lost, get off the mound. He doesn't even want to talk to him. He's told you once, I've told you twice. Hit the road, Jack. I'm ready to go. You're in my space. He wants a couple of pitches. Yeah, that's good. Let's go. I love it. You got to like Sugiyama. Takes one square right in the back. He's probably more ticked off than anything. Oh, maybe it wasn't the back. Maybe it was the back of the arm. Let's go look at that on the replay. Nope, it was the back, right underneath number 40, or the 0 of 40. So he wastes no time. He wants to ready to go back at it. So it's a single here for Matsumoto, and it brings Franmil Reyes to the plate. Tying run now at the plate, and he takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike. So definitely the Fighters are not dead yet. God is great, said crazy weather where he's at today. Heard about that. There's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. I was saying as long as I can get my flight into Taipei City in a week and change, I'll be happy about that. So 2 strikes here to Reyes as the right-hander delivers again. Fastball, split finger variety, misses down and in, and the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Reyes waggling the bat. Right-hander ready to go again. Holds to the set position. Here's the pitch. Ooh, nice job there. The split finger pitch misses down. They appeal to the first base umpire. They say Reyes didn't go. 2 balls and 2 strikes it is. Again, Reyes taps both sides of the plate. As the right-hander works himself to the set. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses down. Now it's 3-2. Curious to see if they're going to put the runner in motion here. Matsumoto used to be able to run pretty good. Doesn't run so well anymore. Reyes waggling the bat, waiting on the offering from the right-hander. Here's the pitch. And he swings and misses at a split-finger pitch. Reyes is in the books. He's gone for the second out of the inning. And that is going to leave it up to Takeya Nakajima. So the Fighters are now down to their final out. Noah Issa says, Franmil Reyes, the Cubs legend. Yeah, indeed. I think he was a Padre legend too. Here's the pitch. First pitch is a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-0 to Nakajima. Nakajima came in to pinch run for Nomura in the 7th inning and stayed in the game. As the pitch on the way is a breaking ball swung on and lifted foul into the seats over on the third base side. Nakajima 4 for 7 on the season. This will be the time that he runs into a pitch and takes one out of the park. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count goes to 2-1. Interesting that Nakajima, as we said, only has 7 at-bats this year. 4 for 7. No homers, 1 RBI, 1 stolen base. And the pitch on the way, fastball swung on, grounded over to the right side of the infield. Fielded neatly by the second baseman, Makahara. He throws to first, and it's a ground out 4-3. And that is going to do it here in this one. Your final score is the Hawks 3 and the Fighters 1. We'll be back in just a couple moments, everybody, to wrap this one up for you. Appreciate you guys for listening in. And we'll give you the roundup of this one, and then we'll call it a night. Remember, tomorrow we'll be back on for the Giants and the Padres. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in just a few.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. It'll be a quick roundup for you here tonight, as your final score again was 3-1 for the Hawks. The scoring got going in the top of the first inning. The Fighters got on the board first as Chusei Manami drilled his 18th homer of the year, a solo shot with 2 out, to give the Fighters an early 1-0 lead. The Hawks responded in their third inning. A 1-out single off the batted Jeter Downs. And then there was a wild pitch that moved him over to second base with 2 out, and Kensuke Kondo delivered a RBI double to bring home Downs, with the score now tied at 1. In the fourth inning, Katsuri Yanagamachi walked, And after Hiroki Minai struck out, back-to-back-to-back singles by Yamamoto, Nomura, and then the RBI single off the bat of Makihara made the scoreline 2-1. And then the Hawks padded their lead in the 7th inning with 1 out, a walk to Kondo, a single by Yamakawa, and then after a fly ball out to the left fielder off the bat of Yanagamachi, the pinch hitter Akira Nakamura came in and he singled home the 3rd run of the ball game for the Hawks. Your final score in this one, the Hawks 3 and the Fighters 1, 3-10-0 for the Hawks, 1-6-0 for the Fighters. And that is going to do it tonight. Your other final from around the NPB, it was 2-0 final for the Dragons over the Giants. That game was at the Tokyo Dome. The Dragons continue to have the Giants number. And your scores in the other Pacific League actions early on, bottom of the 1st inning, Buffaloes and Marines 0-0. Eagles have an early 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 1st at the Balluna Dome over the Lions. All right, everybody, have a great night. We will appreciate everybody who did stop in. Just to let you know, Ozeki's done at 89 pitches. Thought we would share that with you again tonight before we left. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you again soon.